Hey everybody, that's me, Steve Thomas, at Choice Minis on your social media of choice, mostly Instagram, but other places too. I'm joined again by the bearded Adonis, by the man who pilots mechs like no other in universe. Everybody, that's me, Steve Thomas, at Choice Minis on your social media of choice, mostly Instagram. Wow, but other places. That is a huge delay. Sorry, I am also unfortunately listening to myself in stream. That was bad. Anyway, your friend of mine, Adam Grimm, beach_vacation_Mando on Instagram. Adam, how's it going, brother?
Pretty good. Just working on customizing a marine dude right now. It's a little trickier than I initially expected.
That neat. Are you working on your biker?
I'm working on the non-biker version of him right now.
Oh, nice. I don't know what you guys are expecting. In the video description, we're painting blue hair tonight. We are painting blue hair on this dwarf because I wanted to paint some blue hair. I don't know. There wasn't a good reason behind it. There's only the actual reason. This guy has really tall hair, and so I was like, this guy's like the Marge Simpson of dwarves. I should paint his hair blue because that is my thought process sometimes. Sometimes it's like really complicated. I'm like, I want even shadows and like high contrast, and in this case, it was like, I want spectacularly blue hair. So, you know. Adam, how are you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, had the day off, relaxed, play a bunch of Mech Warrior.
Huh. Good stuff.
All in all, it's a pretty good day.
Fair enough. This is what we're using for colors right now. This and white. So scale color graphene is just sort of our base color, and that's going to be sort of what we have at the bottom of all this, and we're going to be moving up through Tesla blue and sky blue, and then sky blue and white, and that's basically it. The process for hair, we've talked about it on our silkier beards before. Essentially, we're doing the same thing tonight. I don't know how to say this. I have a lot of beards to paint, so as I choose different colors for dudes, I want this one to be unique. Normally, Troll Slayers are the ones that have, well, normally they are the ones who are the most beard heavy on details. So I figured since this guy has very tall hair, and since it is going to be the major feature of this model, because like the only other things that they have is like a loincloth and some stabby bits, figured let's go all out and make it just the wildest hair color I can think of. So yeah, we're going to do some blue hair tonight. If you guys have projects that you're working on and happen to be watching this either now or in the future, I'd love to see what your projects are. I'm actually starting to meet more and more of you guys on Insta, and that's super cool. People reaching out, being like, hey, things are cool. Here's the stuff we're building, or here's the stuff I'm painting. Yet to have somebody actually want to put their stuff up for being on the stream. So like, you know, not trying to call anybody who's reached out, like you do you. But I'm always interested at very least to see what you guys out in the community are painting. So if you want to send that my way ever, so that we can either feature it on the Hits on 2+ or just put it in the slideshow. All good. All good. So we're starting off, I'm just evening out this coat of graphene gray. I put like a coat on it earlier today while I was, you know, thinking my way through a project. This is something that I love to do. Like, I love painting, period. But I do also love, you know, like base coating and fairly mindless painting as something to just like occupy my hands while I am thinking my way through brain heavy work. Because surprisingly, putting base coats on things, not super skilled. Not the super skill challenge that some people, I don't know, make it out to be, think it is. Listen, the things that you need to know about applying a base coat properly is thin your paints, move the brush quickly. Basically it. That's basically the long, short, and middle parts of applying a base coat properly. using yieldy hairdryer because, you know, we want to paint. We don't want to... This isn't a watch and paint dry stream. This is a painting stream, right? I mean, it could be a watching paint dry stream. That is something that we also do. So,
Yeah, people would probably watch that.
I don't know if more or less people would watch that than our standard format, but at some point in time, I kind of want to try it. Like, you know, on a weekend stream, you know, or sort of lower attendance streams, because it's Twitch only. I would love to throw up just a paint drying stream, see how it does, see how the analytics come out. Because, yeah, I don't know. It's a meme and it's hilarious. I mean, I don't know if it's actually hilarious, but it is a meme. So, like, why not give it a shot? The other thing is that we are getting closer every day to our 100 followers, and once we hit 100 followers between Twitch and YouTube, so followers, subscribers, whatever you guys do, you guys, because we're everywhere. We're on Twitch, we're on YouTube, we are everywhere. Once we hit that 100 followers, we are going to do the Adam and Steve paint start collecting box of Age of Sigmar stuff that takes not too long, but like probably more consecutive hours than I am comfortable putting into painting on stream. It's gonna get hairy, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not gonna say that Adam and I won't be friends at the end, but Adam and I will either come out way better friends or like only one will survive. Adam, I'm not saying I want to fight you to the death. I'm saying that I will lose the fight to the death that happens on stream. So,
I mean, there can only be one Steve.
Oh, what's up, Mr. Ed? It's been a while, dude.
Hi, dude.
How is morning in ye olde UK? So this is just a mixture. I'm using Tesla Blue and, well, this is Tesla Blue and Graphite, and really I'm hitting everything except for the very deepest shadows right now, so... And we'll continue to brighten this up as things go. Right now, we are mostly concerned on volumes of the beard. So tops of things getting more light colors, but we're not. This color is so close to the graphite right now that I'm not all that worried. Everything except for the very deepest recesses is just getting more paint. As you can see as I pull it off the palette. Starting to rain, so it's cooled down. Oh, thank goodness. It did the same thing in Canada today. Adam didn't have to work today. I got to sit around with actual clothes on as opposed to, you know, that is going to be a thing. If next week's forecasts are correct, this is going to be a nudie stream. I mean, you guys will be able to tell, but I will definitely just, it's going to be 35 Celsius. So whatever that is, 90 something Fahrenheit. I don't know if you guys can tell from the color of my hands, but I am very pale. My ancestry came from a tiny island across an ocean. We're not built for that sort of heat. I don't know, Mr. Ed, how much you like the heat, but I hate it. I hate it so much. The part of the island that my ancestry is from, I'm pretty sure it just rained just constantly. There was never any weather except for rain. All right, let's move up color a little bit. I love the pigment on the Tesla Blue. It is just such a thin pigment compared to graphene that we're gonna keep mixing here. Just mixing colors a little bit. Adam, at some point in time, we should set it up so that we can also share when you're working on minis too.
Cool. So, I need a way better camera for that.
Nah, you can use your phone actually. Other than my phone is already in the process of dying. Like it's a Pixel 4, it's coming to the end of its life cycle period, so that's why I don't do the using it as a webcam right now. But I've had actually decent success with other people using their phones as webcams just in my day-to-day life as the day job. In the day job, I have to help other people navigate technology sometimes, and I've actually had a good deal of success getting people running their cell phone as a webcam. So that's just a thought. I mean, no pressure or anything. You don't have to put it on the internet. You can just put your name. Originally from Scotland, so I melt in the sun. Yeah, my entire family is, well, not the entire family, the part of the family that we can trace any sort of origin to, is all from I guess that'd be the western part of Wales, southwestern part of Wales. So I'm pretty sure the sun shined there once in like the 14th century.
People thought it was the apocalypse.
The Druids thought that they had caused it, so everybody worshipped them for the next several, however longs. Eons. Just building up color on here. See, the fun part of like these weird, and not weird, but like these lesser known models is, yeah, there's box art and stuff for it, but like nobody really has I don't think anybody has real expectations of the models, right? Like nobody's like, but that's not what, I don't know, somebody famous in Age of Sigmar looks like. I should really start learning more of the like Age of Sigmar famous people. I mean, like there's like the like god tier ones, Gortek, Kragnos, Marathi, those ones like that. I can name off like most of those heroes, but like the individual like smaller heroes, not a chance. Not a chance in the world. We are skipping this track because it is annoying me. Sorry, I have background music that apparently isn't going to stream, which is a little sad. I guess I broke music going to stream while I was doing some putzing around with stream settings, so I apologize that you guys aren't getting the really, really bass heavy. It's probably going to be categorized as EDM, but all I can describe it as is robosexual noise that was happening in my headset. Now I'm blanking on the actual like style of music that is. The one that sounds like Transformers going at it.
Synthwave?
No, not quite synthwave. And now it is playing Christmas music. We are 0 for 2 here. Skrillex.
Oh, dubstep.
Dubstep, thank you, Jeebus. Oh man, so more painting on here. So you're working on your successor chapter, dude?
Yeah, I am. I'm working on the chapter master right now. I'm combining parts that shouldn't go together, so it's taking a little bit of doing.
Yeah, I know how that feels. Which, by the way, I need to go and get 5 more Praxi, whatever they are. Listen, Sheepshagger Country is absolutely correct. I mean, sheep is probably the most positive thing we could have shagged. All of the like church records show that we were very, very big into the Catholic and Anglican churches through the years. So I hope that it was sheep. Still got a load of Marines, Death Guard, and Guard to do now. So I'm considering getting Tau. Well, of course, you gotta keep it up. I kind of want to go. I'm contemplating going to our local game store here and picking up God's Ghost this weekend. I kind of want to, but also I don't have literally any other guard dudes or any other reason to play guard other than I kind of like the scalps for God's Ghost, which don't get me wrong, that's enough for like that to happen, but I really should go and pick up some Adeptus Mechanicus dudes and continue to the prep work for the super long stream. I don't know, man. We'll see. We will see. So again, still working on volumes. This guy's a little bit easier to work volumetrically just because there's only the couple of like actual tie parts of his beard. Otherwise, it is just flowing hair. So we've talked about this on some of the other hair that we've done, but we'll talk through that sort of situation with this guy as we get there too. Flowing hair that's unbound, hair that is free to flap in the breeze, tends to be easier because you just treat it as, you know, individual volumes. You don't have to work through volume in combination with tension, in combination with like ends and tips and stuff like that. It tends to be a little bit easier to map out. There are, as I said, a couple of places where the hair is under tension, but not nearly as much as like our super braided hair that we were doing when we were doing blonde hair, or the like, you know, the more intricate multi-layered paint job that happens to make up gray beards to make grays look a little bit more believable. Mr. Ed, I don't know if you have, or if you heard the last stream, but if you get a chance, or when you get a chance, you should head over to YouTube, check out Blinded by Daylight's conversion. He did one of the McFarlane minis. Well, minis. One of the McFarlane action figures, and he converted the Assault Marine into World Eater. It's pretty killer. Also, I managed to incorrectly guess what his next model is, even though pretty obvious in hindsight. I got a little overexcited. He's got some spoilers for the next model in there, so. But if you get a chance, man, you should go check it out. I mean, it's not just the like painting, it's also like a lot of sculpting work, which I am totally envious of because all of my modeling prowess happens to be digital in 3D. And I learned how to do it from CAD instead of from like real life art perspective. So sculpting is completely foreign to me. It's like, yeah, but you took that flat thing and you made it into an actual thing. I don't understand. I have to start from cubes. Give me cubes and the ability to cut up my cubes, and I can make you 3D things. But super killer. Really good stuff. Really cool stuff. He also put up his other video yesterday, which I'm going to continue to call the Grot Commissar, even though I know that that's not what it's actually called. I think it's called the Leader of the Rebellion. Gretchen, Leader of the Rebellion, maybe. Anyway, fun stuff. Oh boy. So Adam, we talked a little bit earlier today.
Yeah.
About
yes, we did.
What our favorite I don't want to say like meme, but like pop culture based minis, pop culture based mini like paint jobs are. And I threw out some examples. I didn't grab photos because I was busy and I didn't want to be late for the stream today like I was on Tuesday, because that was a disaster. And then I spent the entire stream hungry and just wanted to eat. I don't know if you guys met me. I'm easily distracted to begin with. It doesn't get better when I'm hungry.
Yeah, I did think of other ones that came to mind as well.
Oh yeah, what do you got?
Again, like just kind of going off Space Marines, the Gundam and Zaku conversion ones.
Oh yeah, I saw there's actually a whole set of bits out now for the Zaku Space Marines.
Yeah, it's heads, the Heat Hawks, and the shoulder pads.
Yeah,
the one's got like the kind of standard Zaku one with 3 big spikes, and then the other one has like the Zaku shield on it.
And I think I've seen the Gundam one too. Is that Pop Goes the Monkey does the Gundam one?
I'm not sure if it's Pop Goes the Monkey actually that does them. It is on Thingiverse though.
Yeah, I've seen the ones on Thingiverse. I always want to try and find the original sculptors of that stuff and like give them their due, even if I am gonna go and like if they've got an STL file, I'd rather buy the STL file from them than just like whatever repost on. I don't know. I got a certain amount of affinity for 3D sculptors and want to, like, as much as I can, give them the money. I mean, I'd rather give conversion bit money to like indie sculptors than buy it from Forge World. Sorry?
On Shapeways.
Yeah.
It's called Mark Shop.
Sorry?
It's called Mark Shop. So he's got a couple of the different looking guns. He has a bunch of different bits for it. Here, let's go.
I mean, I gotta say that my favorite of the like pop culture reference Marines is still the Buzz Lightyear, the Star Command ones. Because, I mean, I've seen a lot of people do it now, and people have done it with, Stormcast Eternals, and they've done it, like there's been plenty of conversions. But the first time I saw that, I was like, I kind of need to make a Space Command, an entire Space Command, like chapter. Like, you kind of got it, right? Like, just a bunch of different versions of Buzz Lightyear.
For sure. So I do really love that one too. The one I saw was really cool. So I'm looking at the what is this guy's name? Mark's Shop by Mark Bell. He's got a Goof squad bit, a Zaku 1, Tekiden ground GM squad bits, Gundam bits, Gelgoog squad bits, Zaku bits, Zaku 1 Blitz Brigade, which is basically just a double of it, so you get 2. RX-77D, gun cannon, Zaku explosive weapons, Xeon shoulders, a GM ground crisis suit conversion kit, so not just Space Marines, you can get a conversion kit for Tau crisis suits, GM Kai bits, Dom bits, cool.
Forge World do Tau Knights, sort of. You're better off doing just the Riptides, because a whole bunch of stuff in 9th Ed didn't get rules. Like, a whole bunch of stuff that's in Forge World just didn't get rules. The Imperium got the Krieg. Sorry, I'm just responding to Mr. Ed there. DKOK got rules along with like Assassinorium and some of the Imperium, but like Xenos and stuff, like even like for me, the Necron Scaraptic, like not Scaraptic, the giant Necron Beastie Mobile, the $500 piece of resin that never fits together. Even that one doesn't have rules in 9th Ed right now. So, and Age of Sigmar 3, they did the same thing. They put everything that was in this morning, actually, everything that was in Age of Sigmar got dumped into Forge World's clearance bin. I don't know if that was a mistake or North America only, but like I went and checked, and then I was like, this seems weird, and went and checked on Spiky Bits, and they said the same thing for America. So I'm kind of hoping that they accidentally killed Forge World.
Yeah.
That being said, and the guys that I was thinking of that have the Zaku and Gundam stuff is actually Puppets War. I'll throw it up in chat. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I know Puppets War. I've ordered some of their stuff.
Yeah, they got great stuff. Hang on. It's gonna take a second. All right. Yeah, I got it. Just let me type things in my own chat, damn it. All right. Yeah, a little bit. I kind of get why they're not entirely getting rid of Forge World, but why they might be revamping it, because a lot of the stuff that was in there either wasn't getting rules attention or was really low volume in sale, which sucks because some of their coolest models still exist as Forge World only models. And again, I don't know if that's worldwide. That is like the action of putting all of Age of Sigmar as they're traveling into 3.0 into into discount on Forge World is sort of telling of how they've supported Forge World in the last year or so.
Just not at all.
Yeah, it's not been great. I mean, 9th edition wasn't kind to, well, end of 8th/9th edition in 40k wasn't particularly kind, and wasn't really any better at the end of, like, well, it doesn't appear to be going particularly well for Forge World at the end of Sigmar, like Sigmar 2. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to call it yet, but it feels like we are headed towards either a revamp of Forge World, which I would welcome, because the UK Forge World prices are bad.
Everywhere else.
North America, it is torturous.
Still not as bad as Australia.
No, we're worse than Australia by, like, purchase power parity, man. Everybody, like, Aussies complain about Forge World as long as the day, you know, as long as there's daylight. As long as the sun's in the sky, they will complain about it. But, like, we pay more per dollar in comparison to how much purchasing power we have than the Aussies do. And our shipping rate is worse. And there is, like, a Forge World, like, distribution center in North America. So it's only traveling from, I think it's in Los Angeles. It might be in Jersey. It's one of the two, like, major warehouses, though. Like, I know it, I'm pretty sure that Forge World is still actually made in the UK, so shipping tends to be not quite so awful to you guys. But, like, I think it was, what was it? It was £100 because we have to buy everything in pounds now.
Yep.
£100 qualifies you for discounted shipping, and £250 qualifies you for free shipping to Canada. So that's in Canadian, in the Grand Kanakistan dollar. That means that we have to spend about $550 to get free shipping from Forge World, which is
A lot.
Yeah, that is more than I am normally going to put in on an order from anywhere for hobby stuff. So, I guess I don't own much from Forge World.
A couple things, but they're mostly stuff like that I've gotten, that Sean and I have got through, like, GG sales.
Yeah, or you know, for us, you know, if I want to buy and paint a Primarch, I'll wait until our friendly local gaming store that can order Forge World product at their, I mean, I'm gonna pay the lovely, beautiful thing about Sentry Boxes is that it exists. The sort of awful part of Sentry Box is that nothing is ever on sale, ever, for any reason, ever. So, like, you know, the especially GW stuff. GW is full MSRP all the time, 100% of the days of the year. But at least they can get it, and they'll combine it into their order and eat the ship. Like, they don't pay the same shipping costs that we do, so at least, you know, they can get it eventually. Outside of the Primarchs and some of the 30k stuff, though, I don't even know what I would be ordering from Forge World right now.
Yeah, I would have got, like, DKOK stuff, but they don't have a lot of it anymore. And the stuff they do have is stuff I don't really want.
I mean, some of it, all of the models still technically exist in 40k because of the Forge World book. Like, they exist in 8/9 because of the Forge World Codex. But, like, I don't know, beyond, like, the Riptide, some of the Riptide conversion stuff that you can get. And then the giant flyer, the Manta or whatever it is, like, they're absolutely enormous transpo flyer. I don't think.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. The
one that's like 30 pounds, and by pounds I don't mean like British pounds. I mean like 30 pounds of, like, plastic, well, resin in this case. Those are the only things that I can really think of that I remember seeing on Forge World for Tau anymore.
Yeah, they just have like the Forge World, like, only Crisis Suit minis.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that those ones still were around. I thought that that stuff had all been made into plastics. So that's not
No,
bad.
no,
Some of those are actually
they're-
kind of cool.
Yeah, they still have like their very specific ones. There was one that actually that did make it into plastics. I can't remember which one it was though.
It is not. Oh God. I can imagine the photo of it. I gotta admit I'm not great with Tau battlesuit names. I know it's not the stealth suit. I know it's not the crisis suit. I know it's not Riptide. It is the one that is between Crisis and Riptide.
Ghost Keel?
There we go. That one used to be resin only, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that one was one of the ones that was resin only.
Come to think of it, I do have a couple of stealth suits around here that I was going to paint up for I was going to run an entirely stealth suit and shield drone before the shield drone got nerfed, FAQ nerfed for Kill Team. And by FAQ nerfed, I mean they said that it ended up going down to 1 per list for shield drones. Yeah. Which, fine, I get it. I understand why, because otherwise I could just run entirely stealth suits and shield drones and end up with more wounds on the field than if I was running exclusively Custodes or like just a cloud of cultists. Chaos cultists, I should specify. Also, I apologize if the doggos are loud tonight. I'm the only one home, so there's me and the doggos. No roommates. Well, maybe a roommate. I don't know. I haven't seen anybody in a while. But right now, so we're continuing to add to the volume. So the tops of things, and we're doing this sort of gradually as we get up through Tesla and into Sky Blue. So we're starting to work in some Sky Blue on the raised parts of everything right now. We'll come back here in a bit and sort of clean some stuff up, add some Tesla to give some of the volumes back a little bit more shape to them. And then we're going to use a combination of Sky Blue and white to sort of start giving a lot of detail to things. But on this sort of first series of passes, what I'm really trying to work is big volumes. And then we'll come back and add details once we've got all of our volumes like pretty well staked out. So only the Command Rhino and some Respirator heads, yeah. No, $550 Canadian is about 250 pounds. It's ridiculous. Like, and we have to buy in pounds on Forge World, if I remember correctly. I don't remember when that was supposed to come in as the store policy, but they announced everybody worldwide was buying in pounds not that long ago.
I do remember that. You can, for a while, you were able to switch it to
Canadian dollars?
Yeah.
Kanekistan bucks?
the old plastic money.
I don't know why I'm making fun of our money. Our money makes fun of itself. We literally have a coin called the loonie.
Yeah.
It's worth $1. It has a loon on it. We are so brave. Getting a lot of buffering in leg tonight. Hang on, I'm gonna close some stuff down. See, I'm not getting a warning on my end about drop, but that wouldn't surprise me if we were still getting drop frames tonight. Try and improve it on my end. And if it doesn't improve on my end, well, it's life. We are 30 FPS, 0.0% frame drops. 30 FPS 1080 on both, actually. I know that I don't actually get to display at 1080 on both, but it uploads at 1080, which is neat. Oh, man. So the entire reason why I wanted to start talking about, like, what are your favorite pop culture ones is because Other than Buzz Lightyear, I do love the Power Rangers and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Space Marines. I wish I could have spent some time this afternoon to find them. But there is definitely an entire squad of TMNT, and as a child of the 1980s, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was probably more important than it should have been in my early life. Both the live-action movie, the many arcade beat-em-ups. I miss side-scrolling brawlers, by the way. Now they're much harder or don't exist, so sad.
I played the newer, what's it called?
The remake one that they put out on Xbox Arcade was really good. But that was a remake of Turtles in Time, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I did play Rampage, the new one.
Ooh, new Rampage. I played Rampage DX, which was like a... There was way too much story in it, and I didn't care. I just wanted to be a giant monkey that beat up buildings until they exploded. I don't think it was a movie tie-in, but like... Guys, I don't know how to explain this to game designers. There are certain genres of game that don't require good storytelling or like brilliant marketing. Just like, I think we had the same conversation last stream. Like, was it last stream where I was complaining about how I wish that there was less plot in Pacific Rim?
Yes.
Okay. They're all starting to blend into one, which is both good and bad. Means I'm getting comfortable with it, but also like to be able to remember what I've yelled at you all in the last couple of months. But yeah, I don't know if Rampage needed a story. I think it was Rampage DX is the one that I played all the way through. As a matter of fact, I'm positive because it still shows up in my Steam library, so I don't know. I like but yeah, what do you guys think? Like, what are some other like pop culture, I don't want to say like meme paint jobs, but like some of the pop culture inspired paint jobs that you guys have seen out there that are cool? Because I've seen a lot, and some of them are very good, some of them are very not. I don't want to really talk like slag on anyone in particular for the very nots, but like, I don't know. I like fun meme projects or painting stuff sometimes, even though I don't tend to do it very much myself. I always like look at when other people do that like sort of memey stuff, and I'm like, oh, that seems like fun. Could have giggled the entire time I was painting this thing if only I decided to paint all of my oh yeah, Mario and Luigi. Yeah, when they went through and they had like Waluigi and like Wario and all the rest of it too. That one was great. Oh man, I forgot about that. Oh, the other one that I really liked. Oh boy. Somebody did an old tactical squad in the colors of all the like Starfleet uniforms, and the one red shirt that they painted was like the old dead Space Marine. Like, you know how you used to be able to buy the downed Space Marine? Like, it was just a plastic kit that you could get. I think it was a fine cast kit, if I'm honest with you. But there used to just be the downed Marine one that you can't get anymore, and it was just a tactical Marine who was dead. Somebody had definitely turned the red shirt into that, and I was like, okay, that is exactly what I want to do with this Marine. I mean, like, ostensibly, he was supposed to be like some sort of... I mean, no, that's not true. They actually went through and they changed all the details on it, because they changed the... like, they took all the Aquilas and stuff, and like... all the purity seals and stuff off the models, because it was just a regular tac squad. And so they took all the like purity seals and stuff off, and they like, green stuffed their own little communicator badges and whatnot. And like, I think they made one of them have like a Geordie LaForge visor over top of his helmet, and like, it was fun. I laughed a lot. I was like, this is the sort of thing that brings me great joy. And I kind of want to do something like that. But I also like, there are so many painting projects that I already have that like, I don't know if I can put that on my plate too and not start to feel bad at some point in time that I'm not. I mean, these guys are going to get done. Like at least the actual dudes part of this. We don't have much longer, I don't think, until the dudes part of our first set for excuse me. I'm having a very sort of night tonight. Feels very weird. At any rate, the first set of guys for armies on parade are going to probably be done not too long here. I've got way more of this stuff done off camera than I yeah, Noise Marines painted as Iron Maiden. Back in the day when you could actually get the Noise Marine band from like there was the full on, I don't remember, maybe that was just a white dwarf that somebody had converted them all, but I feel like there was an actual Noise Marine kit that you could get that was it wasn't necessarily Maiden, but it was like Kiss or something like that, right?
I want to say that was 3rd edition.
Yeah, but I don't remember if that was a codex photo or if that was a White Dwarf article or if that was an actual like set of models. Because it was definitely before I was in the hobby, right? Like, yeah. I've only been painting for like 5 years now. So,
there used to be an orc rock band.
Oh yeah, there was an orc rock band.
Yeah, and they had their own vehicle too.
I saw that come up somewhere the other day because it looks like the Mad Max like noise truck, right?
No, it's it looked like the Monster's hearse.
Oh, because yeah, maybe I saw it come up on like Pinterest or something like that because I do still like scan Pinterest for ideas to emulate and steal, but that was one of the ones that I saw was somebody had taken the like orc truck and had converted it so that it looked like the like noise wagon from Mad Max, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've seen that one.
That one is
what you're talking about.
Actually, I've seen somebody who did a whole set of like Speed Freaks orcs that were, now that I think about it, it was the entire like Mad Max rolling thunder wagon, rolling thunder, whatever that like situation was called in Fury Road. I know that all has like a name, but I don't know enough about Mad Max lore. You know what I'm talking about though, right?
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Because it was like somebody taken, I mean, well, the beauty thing about like orcs is anything can be a truck because it just, I mean, if you're not tournament play, it doesn't matter. You can put whatever you want inside of, or put orcs inside of whatever you feel like. And you're like, this is an orc truck now. And you're like, that is literally a cardboard box with the word truck written on the side. And it's like, yeah, but they believe in it. So it is a truck. That's a war truck. There is nothing that you can say that will dissuade those orcs from thinking that that is a big, like, battle wagon.
Well, it's like the group of orc commandos that when they hide together, they're a Space Marine Rhino.
Oh, I love that one too. Actually, that was they gave them all. Was it commandos or was it mech boys or something?
I think it was commandos, or it might have just been boys.
It might have just been boys, and they gave them shields. And when the shields all fit together, it looks like a rhino.
Yeah,
not like an actual rhino, but like an orked up rhino.
So again, it says like we is Spec Marines on the front.
Yeah, that one came up on. I feel like it was on Instagram a couple weeks ago. Maybe it wasn't even that long ago. But I laughed at it. I had the drum set printed for a project I'm doing. Oh, the Iron Maiden, like the Noise Marines, or did you get somebody else to print just a drum set for you? Because I could have gone that way with our current Emperor's Child. It's so weird to say Emperor's Children and mean a singular thing because it's plural. So awkward. So awkward. GW.
It does not feel right.
Yeah, but our Emperor's Children, the guy that we're working on right now, I did briefly contemplate doing like something more Noise Marine based, but I was like, well, if they haven't been, infested with Slaaneshi good times, they probably aren't Noise Marines, right? Like, there was nothing that nothing in like the particular setup of the Noise Marines of the Emperor's Children in what I read of like the 30k lore that really spoke to me that they were one day going to be hardcore rockers, like hardcore glam rockers. Although there was a part of me that was like, maybe they could be hardcore glam rockers and you could, you know, make them into what's that parody heavy metal band? Steel Panthers. If you guys haven't, if you're at all into 80s glam rock, Steel Panthers is possibly the best version of it. And it is a parody band. And lovely and amazing. They have possibly my favorite metal song of all time, called Community Property. I will not repeat any of its lyrics on stream because we are family friendly. But if you go onto Vimeo, possibly onto YouTube now, because who goes onto Vimeo nowadays, right? You guys can find, it's just called Community Property. Be prepared. It is rude and a lovely parody, but also very rude. Not sorry?
You know what time it is?
Oh, is it time for the news?
It's time for the news.
All right, let's talk about some news. Let us talk about some news. Adam, we're going to have a discussion. And it's not going to be a short discussion either, unfortunately.
This is our only news?
Well, no, we have two news stories, but one of them is Warhammer Plus finally... We knew Warhammer Plus was coming.
Yeah, we have talked about it before.
Yeah. So they announced this weekend what the pricing is going to be. It's going to be $5.99 US, £4 99p.
So
It'll probably be
Canadian.
Yeah, I don't think we're even getting a Canadian price, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's good. Like $5.99 Americans about.
Yeah, it's about $8 or $60 US or £59 or £49 99p a year. Cool. There is a lot of stuff that is going in here. A lot of stuff that I didn't expect them to be bundling together that made this a much better deal. Because last time you and I were talking about it, we knew that all of the animation was going on there, right? Since then, we have learned that it's not just the TV shows or the animation stuff. So this is a Stardew Season 2. We talked about the big long list of stuff that's going through the animation house. We can rehash that in a bit. But
there's the painting show, what looks like.
Yeah, so there is now a masterclass series, which I didn't see that it. I didn't get to watch the full. I didn't get to watch the full recap of what they had done. So that's unfortunate. I reached out to Darren Latham on Insta just to see, because he seems like the one who would know. I don't know if it's Peachy that's doing it or if it's Darren or who it is, because the masterclass series painting stuff looks absolutely excellent. If you haven't watched Darren Latham's videos on YouTube, go and watch them before GW finally remembers that he hasn't taken them down yet, even though he promised to take them down years ago now. Like it was supposed to be 2 years ago when he was supposed to take them down. But okay, so that's not it, because of course that's not it. Both the AOS and Warhammer apps are also included in this. So if we remember from 9th edition launch, the Warhammer app is now your army builder app, but it also can pull all the rules from every codex that you own. So if you own a codex, you can also have all that stuff in the app. Or you could pay the yearly subscription and it would just unlock all the codices for you, including core rules and any of the previously published codex stuff. So any of the 8th edition codices, that stuff was all included. And as you added 9th edition onto it, that was when you had to start buying individual books. I'm assuming that the Age of Sigmar app is fairly similar. I haven't looked as much into it because I just haven't. The other big one for me, I don't care about the event extras. Like, whatever, you're gonna get an exclusive model, or you're gonna get to sign up for like LVO a day early or something like that. Is probably what it sounds like it's gonna be. But having the Warhammer Vault, so it's not just Black Library, it's also all of White Dwarf, and it sounds like it's forever. Like it is all of White Dwarf and all of Black Library, which if that's what we're gonna do, cool. It's definitely not Peachy because that guy's right-handed. I just realized that. Okay. I wonder who is actually teaching the masterclass. I guess we'll find out soon enough. Bat reps, they're gonna do their own bat reps. That's gonna be a thing from now on.
It's the lady painter from Heavy Metal.
Oh, you could be right. We do have some longer fingernails there. I don't know.
It's the size of the fingers there and the lack of hair on them.
Totally fair. But yeah. So Warhammer Vault, obviously, like you can see what's going on there for the Warhammer Vault stuff. But yeah, White Dwarf.
Also, the Warhammer Lore Masters. It will be a cool, an interesting thing to watch on there.
Yeah, and the part of it that I have skipped over intentionally, but probably the biggest part of this, at least for the launch year for me, is you get to choose a mini. So there are two minis. There's the Vindicare Assassin, and there is the I want to go with War Boss. It's probably an unmounted war. I should actually look. Like it's 2 seconds worth of work, but like, is it a War Boss that we get? It doesn't say, and I'm not going to watch the videos right now. I'm assuming that that's a War Boss, though, just an unmounted War Boss. It could be like a Brute Champion, though.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just got a big choppa, so one way or another. But
bye, Mr. Red.
Oh, see you, man.
Have a good night, dude.
Oh man, it is 2 a.m. Yeah, we'll catch you. I'm not on this weekend, but I'll be back on Tuesday, so hopefully we'll see you then, man. But yeah, the Vindicare Assassin on an awesome terrain piece, or our Broody Boy. Like, these are both really cool models. These are both $50 Canadian models, right?
Oh yes, definitely.
Okay, so we have the app, which before Warhammer Plus, the app itself was $50 a year Canadian. We have our $50 model. Animation, whatever. We've talked about all the stuff that is going up. There are a lot of TV series, Angels of Death, Hammer and Bolter, that'll go up on day 1. I want to see what Masterclass is.
Yes.
Here's the deal. That does, to me, and this is to me, they aren't painting in heavy metal style. This looks way closer to like Darren's personal stuff than it does to, and maybe this is why Darren wasn't allowed to do YouTube videos a couple of years ago, and this was their like promise to him. And if that is the case, this is 100% worth it. And that's why I reached out to Darren. I was like, hey, did you stop being a YouTuber and start banking episodes of this, knowing that this was in the pipeline? Because if so, like, kudos. And thank you for staying with GW long enough to make this happen. But, like, you never know, man. You never know. But it does, like, if you take, especially the White Scar, like, I'll zoom in a little bit, especially this White Scar. Go back and look at his video that is painting white armor. That is very close to how he does white armor because, and this is the weird part, he does white armor as through and gray, and then it's white over top of it. Like it's a through and gray, and then increasing amounts of White Scar just as highlights. There's not a whole lot of volumes on it, but he also uses it as the detail for chips and scratches and stuff. And then he also does specifically, there is like a series of washes to get down into the corners. So if you look at how the corners, like how the gaps in the armor and stuff like that, like how these pits and stuff are all done, it is a series of thinned washes, which is very much Darren's style, which is what makes me believe that this is probably Darren Latham's return to not YouTube. Because I'm a conspiracy theorist. And also I spend way too much time looking at other people's art and trying to dissect how they do it. So Adam, we talked about the like huge variety of stuff that is included in this. We haven't even really touched on the fact that they're going to be doing their own in-house bat reps, which I guess is just going to be Ultramarines against Ultramarines constantly.
Yeah, with like...
I just love it.
That's going to be what it is.
I just love that, like, I say this, being flippant, and then the first thing that comes up is like, space, stupid Ultramarine.
Yeah.
Ultramarine and Necrons. Oh, congratulations. You figured out Indominus. We also have some Tyranids and some Drukhari. Yeah, we kind of figured that was the next box set anyways, since you guys keep pumping Drukhari stuff. At any rate, okay, so all of the things. Do you think this is a good deal? Say it's $85 a year Canadian. Is that a good deal?
For the amount of what you get, and knowing this is Games Workshop, yeah. Because one, the mini you get, they would sell for $80 minimum.
Yeah, I think the Vindicare would probably be $80. I don't know about that, like the Uruk boss. Like I don't know. I'm not saying no. I don't know what the like price for that sort of Uruk is, I guess. I mean, I know what I would price it as. It's a character, like it's a character mini, so it's about $50, right? Like $50 to $60 for a standing character mini. But like that terrain piece for the Vindicare, like Vindicare Assassins are still $35. They haven't changed that sculpt in like a million years. Like since they invented the, or since they like brought out the Assassinorium for like what? Fourth? Because it was the Colexus Assassin was the first one, right? Or was it the Vindicare?
First one was the
Colexus is the one that has the giant brain and looks kind of like a Swarm Father.
No, it's the shape changer one with the long braid was the first one we did.
That is
Caldius?
Sorry?
Caldius or something like that. Cladius.
Sure. Whatever. Maybe. I don't know. I'm bad with names for things, but I know which one you're talking about. Colexus is the one that is they're like a pariah. They are the ones that use like Psychic Scream or whatever it is, or Void Scream or whatever to nerf people.
That's not the one I was thinking of. I was thinking of like the shape changer one.
Yeah, I know. You're talking about the one that has like Medusa claws or whatever it is.
It's a monofilament knife.
Oh, yeah, okay. That wasn't the one I was thinking of, but now that you talk about it, yeah, that model is old as balls.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. I think the thing that like originally like got me to think about rethink about GW stuff, like reapproach the hobby, was watching bat rep that was narrative play where it was literally just GK and Assassinorium, and they absolutely stomped a poor Tau player. It wasn't even close. But I was like, all these things are cool. Those guys look like knights, and those guys definitely look like it's at any rate. I think this is a great deal. I honestly do. Like even at $85. I don't care how much animation goes into this. If it is $85 a year for me to watch Darren Latham videos and get a cool model, that's good enough for me. Like, that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. Like, I was very hesitant when I first heard about it, but that's just because been burned by Games Workshop in the past.
Right? But, I mean, between all of the back issues of White Dwarf, that will eventually be on there. It is taking them some time to digitize it all because, as I said, they're releasing a couple of week. But like all of White Dwarf, all of like Masterclass painting, just the mini itself. I mean the animation and stuff is going to be cool, but like I don't care as much about the animation. Like that is the last part of it that is important to me. I love BG and the Warhammer TV painting channel, but like I don't pay like them, and it's nice to see somebody. I hope that the masterclass one is either, it could be somebody else in the studio. Like, it doesn't have to be Darren. It could be somebody else in the studio painting their like private army stuff, and they're just not using the heavy metal style to do it. I don't care. The style that they're painting it down at the bottom is closer to what I like to paint in. It's not exactly the same as my style, but like, that's why it's my style and not theirs. At any rate, I'm excited. I think this is a good deal.
So do I. Like, I'm pretty excited for that. Like, I know we were skeptical before, but like, we also didn't know pricing then, and it was just kind of announced. And it did kind of come out of the blue.
Yeah, well, because they had announced all of those projects separately, but we're going to get to wait until August until this stuff comes out. So I believe that the launch date is still August 25th. In the worldwide on August 25th. Yeah, launching worldwide August 25th. So I'm excited. Like, I'll probably be in there on day one. If they do the stupid thing where they overorder the Vindicare Assassin, I'll fight one of you for it. Legitimately. I'll be vaccinated by then, and it will come to fisticuffs.
I'm gonna
I'll lose, but
fair
enough. Fair enough. I'll be honest with you guys. That piece of terrain is going to be where I put my flying Raven Guard Eliminator. That is what I want it for. I want it for display terrain for like a way down the road project in Project Neverfallen. That's why I want it. It is the coolest piece of terrain I think GW's ever made. All right, let's go to news item number 2. And this is, again, sort of a let's talk through this sort of situation, because I feel like we should talk through this sort of situation. I put it in here. This in particular, the one that we're talking about here is Infinite Heroes. So Infinite Heroes is from Raging Heroes. So these are the guys that make the toughest girls in the galaxy, and like they make female space marines and like alternate Sisters of Battle. It's kind of their job. Like, it's kind of their deal. They also have made models inspired by the gods in the past, but this is their Patreon. So Raging Heroes is already a company. They do a ton of advertising on, like, I think I first ran into them probably as a Facebook ad. So they're already a company. They already have molding. They already have manufacturing process, all the rest of it. And then they started selling the STLs of everything. So not everything, most things that were on their website, you could buy an STL version of it instead. So an already established company has changed their product offering to include STL files, and now they're going to a Patreon. Like, this isn't the first month of their Patreon, and these aren't the first guys to do this either. There are other sculptors that have decided that they want to not just sell physical products, but sell the sculpts, like the 3D sculpts, as a Patreon thing too. Man, these are really cool models. I love the art style from Raging Heroes. You've seen that stuff, right?
Sure. Yeah, they're awesome. I love them.
Oh yeah. Like, to the point where I was ready to put down like 400 euros or whatever and buy like the giant squad of Dia de los Muertos Sisters of Battle. I don't think they're actually called that, but that's essentially what they were. Man, though, 13 bucks a month. So this isn't just them. There are other companies that are doing this. I don't know how I feel about this, especially here's my thing. They already sell the product. They already sell not this stuff in particular, not the stuff that goes up on the Patreon, but they already sell STL files out of their regular site. They sell STL files of things that they sell in regular, like resins and whatnot. I don't know how I feel about them also being a Patreon. Like, am I just being weird about this? Is anybody else thought of this? Like, I feel like I would never support their Patreon because they're already a real company.
Well, that's totally fair. I would feel really weird.
Like, I don't want to buy their stuff as a subscription service. I am more than happy to, like, if I was to do a Sisters of Battle army, I don't have a problem dropping 400 euro on like a big box full of Sisters of Battle from them, right? but I feel weird about them wanting like, what is it, 13 to 15 bucks a month, 13 to 21.50 Canadian a month. Like, you guys, I don't know. And as I said, I'm picking right now on Raging Heroes. Heroes Infinity by Raging Heroes is not the only company doing this. I don't think I would ever sign up for this. A, because it's like really expensive for a mini printing Patreon. Like that is about $5 more than every other mini painting, like mini printing Patreon I've ever seen at like both tiers. And because I feel like they're already like, just let me buy it from the store.
Yeah. No, totally.
I don't want to subscribe to this. I don't want to subscribe and then unsubscribe. Like, you're just hoping that I forget to unsubscribe so that you can like bill me again next month. That being said, everything that's in here is super cool and I want it. That's the arguing part of me. It's like, I don't like that they have a subscription model and all the rest of it, but also all this stuff is super cool and I love it.
Yeah. No, I totally get what you mean, because I'm like, oh, I wouldn't want to do it, but looking at the stuff, I'm like, but like, I kind of do want that though.
Yeah, like, you know, a swap of an axe head and like a little bit of armor on here, and these berserkers are suddenly wonderful Wolfen, right? Like, if I wanted to do a Space Marine Wolfen, this is better than any of the current Wolfen sculpts, as far as I feel, right? Like,
my favorite Wolfen are the when they first introduced them in like 6th edition.
I do like the resculpts, but they're a little
tell they were Marines.
Oh yeah. I like the posing on the new sculpts, like on the 7th edition sculpts, but like they're a little cartoony. Like, they're a little cartoony. I mean, that Heimdall is just like, all of these sculpts are just absolutely bonkers. You could buy and print an entire Norse castle and all the rest of it. So for like $13, is it that bad? No, it's not. That's part of what it makes me hate it, is because like, it's not that bad, especially for a couple of dudes that really like playing Norse mythology stuff. Like, it's not that big a deal. Like, I could buy it once, download everything, and print it for the rest of time, right? We could play Svilland in it forever, like D&D Svilland. Svilland is a setting by, who is it by?
I don't remember. They were Polish though.
Dream something or other games. Dream something. I don't know. Look up Svilland. 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 Svilland 5e. You can find it on like Drive Through RPG. They had a Kickstarter that I backed, and I think I get more stuff from that soon. I think I get the new physical book again pretty quickly here. At any rate, I love the theme of this. You get the whole like whatever. All the rest of it is, there's a whole bunch of like bonus stuff that's included. You know, you can, as with most Patreons, you get whatever in the month where you're signed up. There has been a lot of cool stuff that they've done over the weeks and months and years, but like, I don't like that they're doing it this way. All right, I'm gonna stop complaining about that. That's all I have for news this week, man.
That's cool. I mean, those are both very good, like, news topics. Like, Warhammer Plus or Warhammer TV it's a big one, because like, I've watched all of the Games Workshop official animation, and well, it's fucking terrible. Apologies, that was my one swear.
You got it. You did your one.
Yeah. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. In the past, anytime Games Workshop has got their claws on any form of media, so video games or movies or shows or whatnot, they ruined it, or like driven it to the point where it cost so much to make, it wasn't worth releasing anymore. Or not cost so much to make, but they, like if you ever watched the Space Marine movie from like a decade ago, it's terrible.
I don't think I've ever actually seen it.
It's bad. It's really bad.
Fair enough. I will take your word for it. If you say something's bad, I have a pretty good confidence that it is actually bad, because you've led me astray on many a thing. Well, not many a thing. Really one thing, and I continue to make fun of you for it for the rest of time. So
I don't know. That's just what I felt like watching at the time, and I was really into it.
You loved your Supergirl. It's fine.
I did. Actually, I have not been able to get back into it.
That's totally fair. I may have been enjoying some jazz cabbage at a younger point in my life, and me and a buddy watched all of the first season of My Name Is Earl, just melting into a couch, and we were like, "This is a great show." And you know what? I can't actually watch literally at all. My Name Is Earl. I've tried. I've gone back. Like we were laughing our heads off. It was the most hysterical thing I'd ever watched at that point in my life. And I tried to go back and watch. I was like, man, I remember My Name Is Earl being excellent. It is not.
You were.
I'd enjoyed a lot of jazz cabbage that day. And I would like to say that was what prompted my decision making on that. At any rate, we were talking about Games Workshop being able to ruin their own IP in literally any medium that wasn't plastic miniatures for about, 3 decades, it seemed like.
Yeah. I distinctly remember when I first got into the hobby, they were working on a CGI movie for Blood Quest.
Ooh, okay. That
Blood
clearly has never come out.
No, it's Blood Quest, for those not in the know, is a Blood Angels story about a Blood Angels captain who loses a relic weapon and is then sent on a blood quest to go retrieve it.
Which, to be fair, sounds pretty important. Don't lose relic weapons, Dim Dems.
Yeah, it was in...
Or do, it makes for good questing, I guess.
Oh, what was it in? It was originally printed in Inferno, and then it released as its own standalone, trade paperback.
Fair enough.
Which, if you can find it, it's probably going to be running a couple $100 now, because it hasn't been in print since the 90s.
Fair enough.
And they were gonna make a movie of it. And I saw in my very first White Dwarf magazine, there was 3D renders of what the Space Marines were gonna look like and what a Land Raider was gonna look like.
Hang on.
There's action shots.
Just so I can get this in my head, are we talking the era of digital animation of Reboot, or are we talking about the era of digital animation of Toy Story?
Reboot,
the original season of Reboot,
probably it would have been 99 2000 era.
Okay, so
not Reboot. So
we are in Toy Story 2 by 2000.
Yeah.
All right. I got an idea of this. I'm gonna go look this up afterwards because I am interested to see more details about this. But continue along with your story.
You can find them. It was 2 pictures and a half-page article in a White Dwarf from 1999.
Fair enough. I mean, if it exists, it's on the internet. Rule 34 isn't just for pornography. I mean, Rule 34 specifically says if it exists, it is on the internet and it is pornographic.
Yeah. That is true. Pinning stuff is so annoying.
Agreed. Actually, you know what? So this is the weird, not really a trick, but method that I've started using now to drill pins and stuff, especially less than ideal plastics. So I can actually... Oh, I just took the drill downstairs this morning. That was silly of me, because I'm not pinning anything right now. What I actually do is I grab either hair elastic or an elastic band and put it around the... I use coat hanger where I can, because it is more than an 1/8 inch, as opposed to paper clip.
That's what I'm using as a paper clip.
Okay. Do you have a small chuck? Or you can, or what is the shape of your actual I forget what these things are called. The hand drill thing.
Yeah,
pin vise. Pin vise.
Yeah, I used my pin vise already.
Do you own a drill?
A rather large drill.
Is the chuck big enough to fit your pin vise into the drill? Or is it big enough that if you disassemble, this was the one that I discovered today and felt really proud of myself. The collet comes out of my pin vise, so I can actually pull. So on the pin vise, because the chuck on mine won't go small enough to do like, that is 0.7 millimeter, I'm pretty sure, which is what I use for like paper clips and stuff. But if you pull the collet out of here, which it's stuck now because I'm a dummy, but you can actually pull this part of it, and this is just like the cheap one, like the Tester's one or the like Chinese built one. You can pull the collet out and you can shove that into a drill chuck and use the drill slowly, like keep both hands on the mini and like use the elastic to turn the drill on slow setting and use the actual like mini and both hands to keep it well centered and positioned. It was so much easier than trying to do that either. Like I've done lots of work with the Dremel before. That's never fun. Dremels tend to skip and chatter or melt because they want to run at 7,000 RPM. Or we get into the position of like, not having a drill chuck that is small enough to actually, like, or that'll close up small enough, like that'll clamp down small enough to use like the micro bits. I do actually have a drill chuck that takes micro bits too. It's just that it slips in my drill and I can't use the impactor. So because I have a chuckless drill and I can't tighten it down enough on to not between the like weird mass misplacement. At any rate, long story short, that is what I ended up doing today. Is I could use the chuck to crush down on the collet out of my pin vise. So
I'm actually using some green stuff as a stabilizer right now as I glue, and
Fair
also
enough.
I was planning on using green stuff anyway, because. Just to kind of fill in the gap, so it's just a little bit bigger of a gap now.
It's fair enough. Green stuff, and as long as you don't have super wet green stuff, so like I tend to use a lot of water while I'm shaping green stuff just to keep it from sticking to me and everything else. If you're using traditional green stuff and not liquid green stuff, this works better. But you can actually use super glue and like not an hour old green stuff, but like 20-minute old green stuff. You can use super glue and green stuff. The super glue tends to help it stick at least a little bit, and then the green stuff provides more substance in smaller joints, especially in mixed material situations. So I'm thinking like either metal to plastic, plastic to metal, brass to metal, brass to resin, all those situations where you're gonna have like, it's weird, it's almost impossible to get a good glue to do it. But I found that the combination of green stuff and super glue actually works out fairly well for a joint compound / filler. I mean, we're talking about very small amounts of green stuff too. Actually, the first time I tried that was on those stupid androids from Warlord 2. That's maybe what pissed me off most about the K47 androids, is that I tried all the tricks that I know to get stuff to glue together, and it just wouldn't.
I also did, and nope.
Right? Not crazy. I'm somewhat decent at this hobby, and if I'm not decent at it, I'm at least inquisitive, so I will try and go and find a solution. I think I kind of got sour on that game when I got told that I was just bad at modeling because I couldn't get their stupid mini to work together. I mean, the game itself is probably fine. I just, the faction itself, yeah. Also, I like the aesthetics of Dust better. I know the game is objectively worse, but the aesthetics of Dust really appeal to me.
No, I get that. I really love the aesthetics of Dust as well. And I never understood your frustration with the K47 stuff until I bought yours.
Yeah, and then you actually had to try and assemble it, and you were like, oh, this is actually awful. And the thing is, like, I still have stuff for K40. Like, I think I kept my Grizzly.
Kept your Grizzly.
And I still have the Mozzie around here somewhere. And I think I still have my Observers. I mean, it wouldn't take a whole lot of stuff added to it to make it a Lend-Lease army. Like, it could be Canadian. Like, it could run under the Canadian rules. It could run under American Scavenge. It could run under British Lend-Lease. Like, I don't have to run it as androids or automatons. I could run it as a heavy armor, like a Lancelot-based army, if I really wanted to do. Or I could do Churchills and Tesla Churchills. Or crocodiles.
Though the thing is, if you did Canadian army, you would actually have to use automatons because of how their K-47 army is made up now.
Boo! I just wanted to make it the PPCLI. Princess Patricia's Light Cavalry Infantry. Or Light Cavalry?
Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry.
Canadian Light Infantry, thank you. The PPCLI is the... They used to be home-based here in Calgary. I think they still have... I know for sure that there is still a motor pool on the old Curry Barracks. I don't think there's anything else that remains, though.
I know the motor pool is now by the Naval Museum. The only thing that's left of the Curry Barracks is the military police detachment.
Is it because they still have criminals there? Because that would be much more hilarious than what I was originally hoping for.
I'm not sure if they do, because there's the logistics and communication and signals. Signals is out of Curry Barracks. That's what's out of Curry Barracks. Is the
Okay.
signals. And then same with the MPs, and then the supply guys are over by the Naval Museum. And then the engineers.
For those of you that don't know, Calgary is about 1,000 kilometers from the nearest sizable body of water in which our Navy operates. So the fact that we have a naval base is hilarious.
Well, we have it's a Naval Museum.
I know it's a naval museum, and it is actually a Naval Cadet Force is stationed out of there too.
Yeah, as well as also our Naval Reserves.
Yeah. At any rate.
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt, but I thought we should be entirely clear that we live in the middle of the bald flat prairie, and for some reason there is a naval detachment. At any rate, continue.
I can't remember what my original train of thought was.
Oh, you were trying to list off where everything that used to be out of the Curry Barracks after the after the migration of most of PPCLI's armor went to Super Base Edmonton.
So then there's the engineers out of the armory, as well as Cal High, which is the Calgary Highlanders.
Yeah.
Which are a light infantry regiment, as well as the King's Own Calgary Regiment, which is a light armor reconnaissance regiment. So up-armored Mercedes G-Wagons and the weird armored car thing we now use.
Bearcats.
Yes.
It's not weird armor cars, it's that G-Wagons explode on contact with IEDs, and we learned that way too late into engaging in a war with an insurgent force.
Very true.
Units are not G-Wagons are not good armor. The light armor part of it, the armor is the part that's missing.
Yeah. But originally where I was going with that tangent was that the in K-47 the Canadians,
Yeah.
instead of doing 3 squads of infantry per platoon, it's 2 squads of infantry and an automaton section of 5.
Yeah.
Which from what I've read is actually a really effective way to use it. It allows you to have more of a mixed bag force.
Yeah, because like I love the Lancelot and Galahad armors. Like they are probably the reason why I wanted to play Canadians in the first place. But if I have to assemble automatons to play Canadians, I am almost willing to give up on being Canadians.
Yeah, especially now they have the Merlin Heavy Walker.
There's a Merlin Heavy Walker now.
Yeah, it's.
I know for a period of time they were getting Stu was getting really into modeling the British Bulldogs for the.
There are attack dogs.
There's they weren't like regular attack dogs either. They were legitimately just British Bulldogs.
Yeah, no, they're like Rift Tech mutant British Bulldogs or like Bull Terriers. What else? The British now have, like the Commonwealth guys now have Rift Tech SAS.
Cool.
And Rift Tech Grenadiers.
You know what they should have is Rift Tech Christopher Lee's. He can either come in form of Dracula or SAS Officer Christopher Lee or Count Dooku Christopher Lee or Sauron Christopher Lee. Just gonna keep naming Christopher Lee's most famous roles. Metal Band frontman Christopher Lee.
I was about to say Metal Band Christopher Lee.
Yeah. All right. So I want to do one more thing before we go to break here, just because I want to give it a couple of minutes to set. This is way too bright. We're looking a little chalky, but the volumes are now well identified. Like, if the camera is out of focus, which it generally is, you guys can still see that there are very like definitive shapes to our beard here. There is good definition between the parts, all the rest of it. So now is the time where I do the crazy thing. This is Achillean green contrast paint. A couple things about Achillean green contrast paint. First of all, it is very richly pigmented, which is nice because I like richly pigmented things. The second thing is it's not really green. Not in any like misunderstanding of the word green would people call this green. It is a very greenish blue, but it is definitely blue. And what I'm going to do to unify all of our shadow and highlight colors and all the rest of it, this is what I'm going to use as our unifying color for this. So this isn't normally a step that I take with hair. I normally am going to spend the way too long to build up a color, but with a color that's as fake as what we're putting on there. Blue hair being a very fantastic color, period. I'm just slipping on some of this color. And I am literally going to cover basically everything in it. And we're still going to get to keep we're still going to get to keep the contrast that we built and the volumes that we've built. Like, we're still going to have the cylinders and all the rest of it that we identified. So the basic shapes that we sort of put together with light. But everything is going to be a little bit more unified in color. And it's going to give us the ability, when we come back, to build texture on top of this. Instead of now having to refine all the color and shape. This is just a little bit of a shortcut, I feel like, for creating some of the... Like, this is the things that contrast is good at. Like, contrast paint, rather, is good at. Contrast paint is miserable for large flat sections or for, the thing that it says it's supposedly good at, creating contrast on things. What it is good at is filling in details and unifying colors on heavily textured areas. Absolutely wonderful at exactly this and pretty much nothing else. That's not true. It's also really good for pigmenting metallic paint. Those are the two things it's good at. So if you want colored metallics, and you either have an airbrush or a large amount of patience, guess what's really good at changing the color of Vallejo model or Vallejo metal color paints? Contrast paint. It's really good at it. It kills the shine a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, but it doesn't take a whole lot to like tint metallics using this stuff. So it's great for that. But these highly textured shapes that we're working on right now, also great for this. So we're gonna apply it all over the hair. One nice, even, relatively thin coat. Like, we're not looking for it to pool up anywhere other than in some of the like gaps and recesses and stuff, but we're not really even worried about that property so much because we have the nice dark base coat that started off here, and because of how contrast paint, as it dries, contrast paint automatically shrinks into the recesses. And you guys can already sort of get the idea of where we're going with this. As it dries out through the break here, we'll come back and you guys will get to see it again. But you can see how rich that blue is now, and now that it's unified, how it's changed. It's a little shiny on stream now that I'm looking at it, but we'll get to see it all when it comes back. And then we'll start building up our texture on this guy's beard and reinforcing just a little bit of the shape and stuff. And then, yeah, we'll probably finish off Bluebeard here tonight. So stay tuned. We'll be back in about 15 minutes with more of our blue-haired friend. In the meantime, if you guys would like to give us a follow, you can follow us on, or you can follow me on Instagram. I am C. Thomas, Choice Minis on Insta. I believe that I'm still Choice Games on YouTube, even though I petitioned like 3 months ago to get that changed. So I'm going to have to check up with YouTube and see what's going on there. Adam, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at beach_vacation_Mando.
Neat. And if you guys want to be included in the slideshow that happens while we go on break here, we are always super hyped. Like, I cannot tell you guys how much I want to see what the community is out there painting and building and whatnot. So you can always DM it to me on Instagram. We'll make sure to like keep all your socials and whatnot on it so people can find you and follow you. So you can DM me on Insta. You can send it to our email address, choiceminis@gmail.com. We'll be back in 15 minutes. See you in 15. What up, everybody? We are back. I am Choice Mini Steve Thomas. I guess I'm Steve Thomas Choice Mini on your social media of choice. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, you know, the places where people do things on the internet. If you want to find me on Imgur or Reddit, you can find my spicy takes about things that nobody cares about. Adam, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on the internet at on Instagram at beach_vacation_Mando.
Neat. I should say, we also have, if you go into our link tree, there is a join link for our Discord. Adam and I are going to start, well, I'm very much going to start posting more in the Discord. So if you guys want to be a part of it, show us some of your, you know, whip shots, all the rest of it, you know, whatever you guys are working on. I'd love to see it. I am going to go and track down all the stuff that we talked about so far. I've got a pretty good idea of all the things that we said as far as like weird pop culture referencey memey army dudes, mostly space marines and sigmarines that people have converted. I was thinking about it. The other one, there was a Grot army that was really funny, and now it just slipped my mind. Literally as that sentence started, it slipped my mind what it was, but I loved it. I can't remember what it is now.
Or Grot army?
Ooh, it might have been the World War Grot army. That was the one where all the Grots are like in old-timey uniforms, right?
Yeah, they're all in like World War One German like greatcoats and storm. They're like Grot Death Corps Krieg guys almost.
Yeah.
Sans gas masks. But they look really cool. There's Grot commissars. The guy who made it actually ran it as an IG force.
Nice. Oh yeah, no, I remember that entire army was super cool. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe not like pop culture referencey cool, but like definitely a good time. So
yeah, I actually think I might order the GM Ground Crisis Suit conversion kit and buy the new Tau Commander battle suit. Or like I say new, but it's newer than the old one because the old one was basically just a generic suit. It just had a different head.
are you talking about not the generic command suit, the Farstrider? Is it Farstrider? Farslayer? Far something or other. Farsight. Is it Farsight? Commander
Yeah,
Farsight.
I actually might use Farsight just because I really like his sword. But I also did find, I can't remember where it was now. It's in my bookmarks somewhere. But a guy who makes the weapon of the fusion blade. So there's
cool.
actual rules for the fusion blade now.
Yeah.
There's an actual mini of it, so it actually has like you could paint the it has like a big kind of fusiony blade thing coming off of it, and it looks cool. I was like, oh, that would be rad. And I really like the bits for the crisis suit one where it gives you like different Gundam-y looking feet, and then like shin guards, and like the kind of classic Gundam GM rocket pack, which is the 2 rockets.
I know that it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I do like that the walkers have hooves. Like,
Yeah.
or like all of the suits have the like hoofed feet. I know that they're communist space fish. I understand it. They're not actually communists. At very best, socialists. But anyway, at very worst, socialists.
Yeah.
At very something-ish, socialists. At any rate. But I do actually like the hoof feet. Just because that is what like the Tau like rank and file have for feet, and it would make sense that they would, you know, just the same as like human walkers tend to have humanish looking feet, like feet, not feets. They tend to have like ankle bones and all the rest of it, though they may have like in Battletech's world they're mostly splayed toed, so not exactly humanoid, but
depends on the mech in Battletech too.
Yeah, the rifleman is probably the closest to looking like just a dude who is made out of blocks or squares. Hang on, I'm gonna use the
probably the Victor or an Atlas, because they both have. Actually, the Atlas does have like just kind of big boot feet. There's a couple other ones, but yeah, a lot of them do have toes, and there's like the bird leg ones that obviously have like the kind of splayed claw bird looking foot. Actually, I don't have an Atlas in my Battletech game yet. I have when the 2-player one I play with Sean. We have an Atlas that he uses, and I've been using a Warhammer, which is one of the original Battletech battle mech designs that was actually taken from Robotech. Same with the Marauder.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Marauder is my favorite of the. Well, it's
And
not my
the
favorite,
Archer.
but like out of the originals, the Marauder is one of my favorites. The Clan Mad Cat is by far still my favorite out of all of the BattleTech universe, just because it's so iconic and because I grew up playing Mech Warrior 2. So
That's
Mech
totally
Warrior
fair.
2.
Depending on like if I go clans, my favorite one is the Dominator, which is it's a really, really new design, but I really enjoy it. It pleases me. If I go Inner Sphere, I'm gonna have to pick the Highlander.
Rifleman Nova, depending on where, like what part of the timeline we're in, I guess.
Yeah.
Because
The Rifleman Nova is the one Solaris champion guys.
yeah.
Rifleman.
Or the Thor. And the Thor, I don't know if it exists outside of the Mech Warrior 2 expansion.
Yeah, it's a clan mech.
Is it a clan mech? Okay.
Yeah. It's a clan Omni mech. It's named something else by the clans, but the Inner Sphere call it the Thor because it uses an autocannon and a PPC as its main weapons.
Yep.
So
I was going to say
good.
it was mostly for the autocannon and PPC because it hit like a truck, and if you missed, you were so screwed.
Yeah.
So desperately outclassed.
Mm-hmm. I do really enjoy the Cerberus. If we're going like Clan Invasion, it was probably by Clan Invasion, the Cerberus had probably been around for about a decade. It was built around basically using 2 Gauss cannons as its main weapons, then just a bunch of lasers as backup.
Now there was
also one of the first production mechs to include an anti-missile system as baseline equipment.
Yeah, the other one that I really like, and I don't know how prevalent it is in all of the lore, but it was really important in Mech Commander, was the Raven anti-electronics mech.
Yeah, that comes around in the 3040s, so yeah, about a decade or so before the Clan Invasion, and it has like rudimentary stealth technology, a pretty hefty ECM suite.
Yeah.
I have fought them in Mech Warrior. Like your HUD goes all wonky and it's really hard to shoot accurately.
Yeah, that was the big thing, is it was such a strong support choice because you could fully in Mech Commander, and I don't know how that translates over, but in Mech Commander you could fully upgrade the ECM suite fairly early in the game. And if you took that as like early upgrade path, you could take on a much larger foe because you could just countermeasure all of its targeting systems. So like Streak SRMs became absolutely useless, and LRM missiles became useless because if you had any sort of mobility to go alongside your Raven, and you could get your Raven even like remotely into effective range for ECM, the AI had no idea how to deal with that. So it would just basically give up.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I haven't used a Raven. I tend towards heavier mechs, though I do know there are a couple different models of the heavier mechs that can equip ECM gear. I believe the Battlemaster is one because that's actually one of the rare 2-seat mechs because it's considered a command mech. So it actually has actually a pilot seat and then a commander seat where if you were like a mech regimental or battalion commander, you would ride the jump seat in the Battlemaster and be able to control and direct the flow of battle real time. And you had control of like an ECM active probe, and as well as like the countermeasure suite and enhanced communications. I don't like the Battlemaster just because it's not a particularly good assault mech. When you're facing other assault mechs, it's really good at killing light and medium mechs because of its weaponry. It doesn't carry enough heavier weapons to go against something like a King Crab or an Atlas, or probably fair not bad against a Victor.
See, that was always my thing with at least the way I played was like the early Mech Warrior games, and I don't know how it is now. The early Mech Warrior games were always about drop tonnage.
Yeah, it's drop tonnage. You have a certain missions require have a certain drop tonnage. The max being 400, because you're in a Leopard dropship and they can only carry 4 mechs.
Yeah, and so if you and I don't know how the new game plays or anything like that, but my tactic was always load up on elementals, and you needed some sort of smash cannon, right? Like you needed some sort of like beat stick. But if you, outside of one heavy weapons platform, if you loaded up with support and ultralights, so I'm talking about like elemental battle suits or sub 25 ton mechs with jump jets, and went full mobility, again, this was probably AI exploits back in ye olde days. They had no idea how to deal with it, because when your turn speed isn't fast enough to catch up to a bunch of elementals flapping around you, or, you know, somebody who's just hot on the jump constantly, you can have all the heavy weapons you want. If you can't get if you can't get your target system lock, good luck with that. If you can't turn, if you can't,
they don't have any of that in 5. Well, they have light mechs, and since the update, tanks have become quite the nuisance. Before, like, I used to ignore tanks.
Yeah.
For the recent update in the DLC. But yeah, you see a lot more, a lot of Scorpion light tanks, and despite them being a light tank, they do carry an AC 5.
Yeah, see?
And Streak 6-pack. So if you ignore them, you will. Sean
feel
learned
it
early. Yeah, Sean learned early to not ignore tanks.
Yeah, no matter what.
Times he'd get cockpit shot and just drop at like almost full health, and he's like, "What?" He's like, "I think I got killed by a tank." I was like, "Dude, always kill the tanks first."
Helicopters, man, especially Mech Warrior 4, I think it was, where they introduced the stupid longbows that had the ability to drop LRMs, streak LRMs from like half the, like, outside of draw distance. They would drop LRMs on you, and you're like, do walking through missile lock warning, what? And then all of a sudden you were dead, because
less worry. The Igor heavy VTOL is, they carry LRMs or like AC 10 burst fires. I have encountered one that carried dual gauze cannons on the underside. That was a bad surprise.
Yeah, I just remember Mech Warrior 4 that the map draw distance, maybe it was just the machine that I was on or graphic settings or whatnot, but you could you could get target lock from outside of the draw distance on the map. So I wouldn't be able to see that the enemy even existed. Like, I couldn't get a 6 on them. I might be able to get an aiming reticle if I had good enough, if I had something that had the ability to scan map for me, you know, do the locationing stuff.
Maybe had a mech that you could equip the active probe on that extends your sensor range out.
Yeah, but otherwise they would just lock in with something with, you know, range and missile lock, and just like blow me away from the entire map away, and all I would get to do is trace their missiles as they were hitting me, because the mech hadn't even rendered. Like,
yeah,
super pain.
One of the things that the update on Mech Warrior 5 fixed was, before, enemies would literally like just appear behind you, or like you'd be like, "Oh, I cleared all the enemies," then all of a sudden you'd lose an arm, and you'd be like, "What the hell?" And you turn around and there'd be like an Atlas just standing there shooting you.
Neat.
Now all the enemies come in from the edges of the map. Mechs get dropped in relatively close to you from a dropship, so you kind of know where they're going to be.
Yeah, at least if you can cycle targets and see the dropship, that's one thing. If it's just
the Lancemate AI is something to be it needs fixing. It's not the greatest. If you can get really on top of using your Lancemate commands and get good at it, it's not so bad. I usually do focus fire with them, so I have them usually start whittling away at the heavier mechs while I take out the light mechs, just because again, like the AI can't handle a mech just running circles around it, shooting it continuously with flamethrowers and machine guns.
I gotta say that like clan flamethrowers were one of the most underrated weapons in especially in MechWarrior 3, because you could use them to overheat. Like you could use them to overheat an enemy. It wasn't so much that it was damage dealing as much as it was, oh, I can just do this to pump all of the heat into you. Good luck with your like massive laser focused loadout. Have fun with that, bud.
Yeah, the Firestarter light mech at, I think it's 25 or 30 tons. It's basically just like 2 machine guns and then 6 flamethrowers.
Yeah, man.
They're
that sort of like weird specialized tactic is what I used to love about playing not just tactical games, but like that sort of game where it was like try and figure out the way to counter the stupid AI that is, because you know they're always, it's always going to be that you are on the disadvantage, right? Like that is, you never deploy from a position of strength. You're always either somebody's already got the, like they're already on the high ground, or they've already got an advantage in drop ton, or like whatever it is, right? So it's always, it's more a puzzle around, am I a better pilot or am I a better tactician?
Yeah, one of the missions I just finished that actually got me a hero rifleman with twin Gauss rifles and 2 medium lasers on it. And actually surprisingly good armor for a rifleman, which was the rifleman's biggest downfall. But it was a canyon mission.
Yeah.
And they used a blackjack to try and lure me down into the bottom of the canyon.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that feels like a trap.
That is a kill zone. You are sending me into the kill zone. I'm not quite that down.
Walked back up the ramp, went around the one side, and then literally just stood out of range with because I had 2 Highlanders on that one, and each was equipped with a heavy rifle, which is basically a poor man's Gauss.
Yeah.
They're lighter, but their ammo loads carry significantly less ammo in them, so you have to carry more tonnage of ammo for them.
Fair enough.
But they have insanely high damage, but also a really slow reload time. Except both my Highlanders are set up to be based around those and their LRM, their Streak LRM 15s. They've got really good ballistic reload time and missile lock. But yeah, just kind of, they didn't, it was like I was fighting it was usually a rifleman, a warhammer, and a blackjack, two blackjacks and a lance that I was fighting, and I fought 3 of them before I got to the end, and then got betrayed by my employer and then had to fight him and his bodyguards, and basically just got a hero rifleman out of it. And it was quite fun, but it was sometimes the enemy AI is it's improved where like light mechs don't just rush in, they'll sweep out to the flanks.
Yeah, and there was a certain amount of AI that was bugged in all the way. Like that was why MechWarrior 2 was fun, is because they at least had like some rudimentary like outturn your opponent, like the rudimentary tactics that you would use in giant robot warfare, right?
Played 2. I started at 3. The 3 was one that had the Mad Cat right on the cover, and then there's just explosions behind it.
Even 2 was the same way.
Yeah, and I played a bit of 4, not a whole lot of 4, because I got 4, and then my family's computers kind of like crapped out.
That sucks.
And like the way I got 4 is that like a buddy like burnt me a copy of his game.
Fair enough.
It was good though. I enjoyed it. Like I've enjoyed all the MechWarrior games, even MechWarrior Online for a while. I enjoyed.
I never played online. I played, the most I've played is 2 in Commanders 1 and 2. Mech Commander 1 and 2, I guess.
Mech Commander 1 and 2 were fun. So was Mech Assault. Mech Assault 2 was really fun because then you got like an advanced suit of battle armor that allowed you to steal mechs.
Nice.
Yeah, and that was actually set during the Blakist Jihad era, which is after the clan invasion and after the FedCom Civil War and pre-Republic of the Spear.
Cool.
Yeah. And then after Republic of the Sphere becomes Wolf Empire, which is the current timeline, which I think is the timeline my canon character might show up in.
Neat.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it's time for a contest, Steve.
Is it
champions?
A contest of champions? Oh god, actually touched the button. Alright, I touched the button.
What did we replace
Oh, we still have it. Sorry, I haven't actually done that much of an update. I've been really busy working.
Oh, no worries.
I didn't have time.
I didn't think of one when I told you.
Okay. Actual fact. Contest of champions. Alright. So, Adam, do you want to explain the Contest of Champions, or shall I explain the Contest of Champions?
I think I'll give it a shot this time.
All right.
So, Steve and I each pick a champion. It is Pokemon rules. So, like Steve has mentioned before, they don't just come out and start screaming because where the hell am I? I think most people would probably die from shock.
Nearly immediately, yes.
Yeah. So, we are allowed to pick any character from science fiction or fantasy.
Or history, if we want.
History. Can't do, like, as Steve mentioned, you can't do his Gandalf the Grey fan fiction from when he was 6 because that was just Superman with a beard. But, like, Steve is using Raistlin the Mage from the Twins novel series.
Yes,
And
specifically
that's from, I think, the autumn, the season series, as he's
okay. So it's
more powerful.
It's a continuation of that story. So after Dragons of Summer Flame, after the second generation does their battle against Takesis, actually it's between Spring Dawning and Summer Flame. At any rate, the brothers have their own thing. Hey, what's up, Fine Blue Man? At any rate, so yeah, I'm using a specific timeline. This is God Killer Raistlin, where he decides that he is going to take on Takesis, try and murder her, become a god in his own right, take her place in the pantheon. Up there with Paladine. At any rate, Adam, who did you choose this week?
Chose Elizabeth Beckwin.
Who's Elizabeth Beckwin?
She is a character from Warhammer 40,000. She's not a tabletop character. She is a
Black Library character.
A Black Library character, and a really interesting one. She's around for quite a while and then gets a clone, which I actually didn't really know about. I heard about it, but I haven't read that book yet. The Eisenhower series is actually my introduction into Warhammer. That's the first thing I got, was the very first book, Xenos, which is where Elizabeth is introduced. She is what is called a pariah in 40k lore. She's basically an anti-witch. What this means is that psychic powers, warp powers, magic powers don't affect her.
We are going to argue about the term magic powers here in about 5 seconds.
If psionic powers from an entirely different universe are magic, then 40k magic is the same as all magic.
Okay. But we argued that they weren't.
But that was a different universe. I know. And
okay.
Whatever.
So the last part of the Contest of Champions is that our champions don't just fight like a regular fight, because that would be boring and predictable, and everybody knows that Indiana Jones would totally murder everybody if it was just a fight to the death. That's not true. I think Indiana Jones would not, probably. So instead, we've made a...
Would have been a good one to go against Raceland, because Raceland would be like doing all the motions for the magic spell, and Indiana Jones would just shoot him.
Yeah, but instead, we have our champions duel in battles of honor, I guess you could call them. Contests upon the field of honor that are made up of a variety of stupid possibilities. Now, if you guys want to participate in this part of the stream, this is probably my favorite part. Please give us any ideas that you guys have for contests for our champions to partake in, because they're just gonna be dumb. So let's roll the big wheel, see what Raceland and Elizabeth are fighting in this week.
Steve and I talked about this earlier, and there's one that's been on there since the beginning that we really hope it's gonna be.
Right? I hope so much that it is this thing. All right, let's spin the wheel. Let's spin the giant wheel. All right, touchdown. So this is one of the new ones. I'm just gonna...
this one.
Sorry?
I don't know this one.
You don't know this one? I think I told you about this one.
You told me about the Jason one. You didn't tell me about the touchdown one.
Okay, so touchdown is... Let's see, I gotta get my cursor so I can go down and read exactly my explanation for this, because that would make sense, except for I opened the wrong file. Essentially, it comes down to this. You get to, or you pick up the football. So we're playing on an American football field. So you pick up the football at the 5-yard line, and you have to get through, you as a single person on a kickoff return without any other help, have to return the football for a touchdown. Each one of our people gets 3 attempts. Whoever has the highest score at the end of the game wins. Your contestants are 12, because we're playing American, not Canadian football, of the other guy. So in the case of Elizabeth Beckwin, there are 12 spindly Racelands on the field that she is going to receive the ball on the 5-yard line, has to make it 95 yards down the field to get a touchdown without being tackled to the ground.
This is going to be interesting.
I have a feeling that... So, the other thing is that Raceland Major has won 2 contests in a row. So he is our returning champion this week. He has beaten... last week, we beat Sarah Kerrigan in Heart of the Swarm mode. Or... Not Heart of the Storm. It was Heroes of the... Nope. Was it Wings of Liberty?
Wings of Liberty is the one where Raynor frees her from the swarm.
Okay, so probably Wings of Liberty mode then. Right?
Yeah.
Because she was Queen of Blades at that point in time, right?
Yeah, that's Queen of Blades. Yeah, I went with Queen of Blades because that's the only one I'm familiar with. I don't really know a lot about her after that. And she apparently absorbs all the power of like the Zerg home planet at one point, which is freaking insane. As
not the Zerg home planet, the Protoss old home planet.
Okay.
They eat it, and she gains all the psionic power from it. Like the Zerg eat it, and because she is the heart of the Zerg, at any rate, lore happened. So
and he also beat MODOK.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was the other one. He beat MODOK. So
but they actually had to have 2 fights because they tied.
This is true, and Raceland won by fighting in the void in a tiebreaker.
Yeah, because all ties are decided by 1-on-1 fights to the death in the void.
Yep, of course, as all fights should be, right? Like right. You should just. That's how you win in any sort of contest, whether political event or just some wrestling gone awry. The only real solution to any battle is violence in the void. So, do you want to receive first, or do you want to be on defense first?
I'll receive first.
All right. So you pick up the ball on the 5-yard line, or you catch it out of the air. You see 12 weird-looking dudes with golden eyes, with hourglass pupils, standing around in dark robes. What would you like to do?
She's going to assume they're chaos cultists, not knowing any better.
That seems about right. She's not far off on that one.
Yeah. So is she already holding the ball? Do I have to like actually receive the kick?
No, we'll just say that she like the ball magically appears. And by magically, I mean like it just appears in her hand. We're not doing the whole like kickoff thing. She doesn't have to see whether or not she fumbles it. We'll give everybody the benefit of the doubt that they can catch a ball, mostly because I don't know if Race could actually catch a ball.
He definitely could not catch a ball.
It would just bounce off of his hands and then he'd mage hand it to himself. So
is there not a flashback point where he remembers like being kind of left out while the kids are like roughhousing and playing with like a ball or something?
There are several where he's being a mopey SOB as a child, and Caramon's like, do you want to play? And he's like, playing is stupid, and I'm an angry man. And it's like, all right, well, thanks, Race. I'm going to go and try and play with the other kids. And he's like, no, you're my slave, Caramon. And then Caramon's like, I love you, brother.
I like how your Raceland voice is that, like, I can't remember the actor's name, the little bald, male pattern baldness dude.
Listen, I'm not patterning it off of anyone in specific other than, like, dick kids that I don't like, which is pretty much all kids, not gonna lie to you. Not a lover of children. I mean, yeah. Anyway.
Okay. So, knowing she has to get past these 12 spindly dudes in dark robes with the creepy eyes, and being a member of the Emperor's Inquisition, or a member of an Inquisitor's retinue, and actually the head of a Inquisitional sub-department, she has a vast wealth of resources at her disposal.
Okay.
And some normal standard equipment she usually goes into situations with.
Okay.
One of those being a brace of laser pistols.
Cool.
Because who needs to reload when you're just wearing all the guns? The Matrix taught us that.
This is true. You just dump the like thousands of dollars worth of guns onto the lobby floor.
Yeah, because why carry reloads when you can just have a loaded gun? Anyway,
loaded guns weigh about the same as a reload, right?
Depends on the gun, I guess.
No, that's never true. Bullets are less heavy than guns. I know this from both handling guns and handling bullets.
Well, I was thinking like 40k guns.
Sure. Okay, she's got her laser pistols. What's she?
Yeah.
What's the play?
How's
she getting upfield?
She's gonna, start jogging. She's, despite her past as a sex worker, because that's actually how Eisenhorn encountered her. She has been trained to like Inquisitor agent standards, so she is, quite athletic.
Okay.
But she's just gonna reach into her coat and pull out a 40k era frag grenade and just prime it and chuck it down the field.
Okay.
Blow a hole in the defense, so to speak.
Okay, so you've drawn a weapon, you've drawn your laser pistols, toss a grenade. The one of the 12 Racelands is just gonna open a portal underneath of the grenade, send it somewhere else. I have 12 of them, so I'm not worried about running out of spell slots right now. Probably more of an issue when I'm on offense.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was my first turn. Didn't work. But though, once I get to within 5 meters,
I think that you can keep running up the field. I mean, I think that our 12 dudes are able to react and counter, but not necessarily like gonna take like heroic actions, right?
Okay, seeing that, that didn't really work, she's gonna change tactics, since they're using magic, and she just has an innate ability that's kind of meant for countering that. She doesn't even really have to do anything with it, though she can, but she needs a psyker to help her with it.
This is true. But her effects of the null being a pariah or a null or a blank or whatever has to do with her being unaffected by magic. Specifically, possession magic.
It's any magic effect, like it's just like she's been shot by like demonic fire and just walk through it.
Oh yeah, and like she can take a Cybolt and be fine with it. That's fine. That is being directly affected by magic, right?
Yeah, if you if you use like telekinesis to throw like a bunch of rocks at her, yeah, the telekinetic power would stop at like the 5 meter out, but the rocks would already still be traveling.
Oh yeah, as soon as I have kinetic energy into something else, it's the something else that's magic, right?
Yeah, it's like the magic stops affecting the something else, like using the rocks, for example. Like the magic's not affecting the rocks anymore, but they're already still an object in motion.
Yeah, exactly. Because like an object in motion stays in motion, blah blah blah, right?
Yeah, but like if you did like a fireball, she would just walk through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's magically generated fire. Yeah,
I 100% agree to these restraints on Raceland's magic.
Cool. So she's gonna start keep moving forward. Seeing the grenade didn't work, she's gonna change tactics because she knows that she's trained to use her abilities effects to maximum use. Like she's literally like a Bamf's right hand, one of his inner circle. So she's gonna run up. She's got the ball in one hand. She's gonna draw her first laser pistol, and as she closes into the about 5 meters away, once that first Raceland hits that 5 meter mark, she's just gonna shoot him in the head.
All right, well, he's going to use shield, obviously, and since it's a laser pistol, nothing happens.
But he can't use shield because he's within 5 meters of her, and no magic works within 5 meters of her.
Okay, one of the other ones casts it?
It wouldn't manifest within the sphere of her, like, blankness.
All right, so the first Raceland dies, and all of the other Racelands, like, just get kind of sad / angry looking. Is that your turn?
Yeah.
We'll say you cross
unless I just keep going until you counter.
Okay, well, I guess you come on a couple more as they're all like weaving their hands around, and then just a fiery like meteor shower drops out of the sky and crushes you flat. I'm using meteor swarm.
Are they magically generated meteors, though, or are they actual meteors pulled?
They are actual meteors. It generates rocks. It lasts for, like, several turns. It's kind of like how... Call lightning. The lightning isn't magical. I'm pulling it out of somewhere, right? But it is real lightning, right?
It's like the flame controls cantrip.
Yeah.
Where you don't create flame, but you can manipulate it.
Yeah. Whereas, like, create flame is, like, that is the opposite. I would have to draw flame from nowhere that is magical, right?
Yeah.
In the case of Meteor Swarm, it literally is I control the heavens and draw meteors from beyond the orbits of Earth and smash them into whatever I feel like at like full speed.
Yeah. So
smash flat by 10 wizards casting Meteor Swarm at level 9.
Will they also not die as well, though?
Oh yeah, but everybody resets, right? Like the downs are over, everybody goes back to the, like 12 more Racelands show up on the bench, I assume.
Like, did we just leave like the corpses on the field so they're like, oh no?
There's just a massive Raceland corpses on the field now. Karaman is somewhere in the stands just weeping openly for all 12 of his dead brothers.
There's 12 Karamans weeping in the stands?
No, there's just one. Still just one of him.
Just one.
It's like there's one real Raceland.
Yeah.
There is
like just getting snacks because she doesn't care.
Kids just like this. I don't know why I have to be here, and I don't like it.
It's like Tannis isn't here. I don't want to be here.
Exactly. There is nobody here that I wish to bone. I am out.
Peace. Beer gardens it is.
Okay. Can we agree that is the end of your first offensive attempt?
Yeah, because I died in a meteor swarm.
Okay. Same thing happens. Ball magically appears. Raceland is standing on the 5-yard line. Your guys are set up. They're. What do you want to do as far as a defensive setup?
because of her training by a member of the Arborites,
Yep.
she's going to form a double firing line.
Okay. Whereabouts?
Um,
Because I assumed that my Racelands were just randomly, sadly wandering around the field, being sad and weak.
yeah, like I'm pretty sure there was gaps in your line.
Oh yeah, no, there was like no real tactic to what they were doing.
Yeah.
It was just a
She's
bunch of
gonna be,
mopey dudes.
like center field, I guess. I'm not super familiar with football. I don't really enjoy watching football. I find it tedious and boring.
You're not wrong, but this is
Give me
a
something
contest of
fast-paced and
champions
violent.
football. Way
Yeah.
better.
Way better. Yeah, so they're gonna form a firing line and draw. They're each gonna draw 2 lace pistols.
Cool. I'm going to use teleport and be in the end zone now. Your bubble is 5 meters. I just transfer from one part of reality to another. Shrug? Touchdown, Raceland?
Oh, that's fair. Because you were definitely further away from me than 5 meters.
Oh, yeah. And it's not like I travel through the intervening distance. I just am in one place, and then I'm in the next.
Yeah.
He doesn't do it. Like, he literally, like, as he wanders out of the portal, he, like, sets down both feet, and then wrecking coughs take over his body, and he, like, drops the football on the ground. There's no end zone dance. There's no celebration. There's just weak Raceland being weak.
He drops the football. It doesn't count, though.
Both of his feet touch the ground inside of the end zone.
Oh, okay,
and technically, the rules for football is all I have to do is break the plane of the end zone while holding the ball. Even if I drop it after I have broken the plane of the end zone, like a vertical line going up from the end zone, not much happens. Like, even if I drop the ball after that, once I have crossed the line, in control of the ball. So if I can clearly demonstrate that I have control of the ball while I've crossed the line, we're good.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
You get second attempt. So I am up. We'll say 7 because we're not going to do extra points, but whatever. Like, we'll say
cool.
I scored a touchdown. It's worth 7.
Okay.
Your turn.
All right. So the ball magically appears in her hand.
Yep.
She's going to draw a lace pistol again.
Okay.
And she's gonna start running down the field again.
Makes sense.
But see, you know, as the Racelands are just kind of, they're not really in any sort of formation. They're just kind of.
No, we do not have tactics. We are going to rely on us being the smartest person in reality. In our own minds.
She's gonna start, like, you know, running down the field.
Okay.
And in the process, she is gonna holster that laser gun. She's got a different idea.
Okay. What's your idea? The Racelands see you wandering down the field and barely register that you're there. They're thinking deep and brooding thoughts about Fist and Dentalis.
Yeah. She's not wandering. She's, like, running.
Oh, yeah, no, they see it as wandering. They see the entire contest of champions as being somehow beneath them, but something they desperately want anyways. I'm really trying to play up Raceland's Racelandiness in this one.
Okay, that's fair.
His masculinity.
Cool.
No, I'm just having fun inventing words. Go ahead.
No, we invent words at work all the time.
It's fun.
Yeah. So she's gonna, you know, just kind of weave through the Raceland scene. They're not really paying that much attention to her, but just in case, she's just gonna drop a football-sized round object there.
Okay.
It has a little blinky light on it, but other than that, it's pretty harmless. It's just, you know, looks like a big pill.
Fair enough. Being relatively certain that they can take care of things in a similar fashion as they did before, we'll say 9 of them spend an action to prepare the exact same thing as before. They're all going to use Meteor Swarm on you.
But it's a readied action, you said?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm just going to give you an entire round to try and get out of this before I just crush you with 99, 9 times 90, 98 meteors that each do 3d6 damage.
Cool. Yeah, so she's, she's running full tilt. She's an athlete. She's pretty close to, it's like, what, 95 yards?
You need to run, 95 yards in total.
Okay. Yeah, I think she can do that. The object she dropped, though.
Yeah.
Melt the charge.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to use a thing made for taking out fortifications and battleship bulkheads.
Okay. I'm going to use Absorb Elements with one of the 3 that aren't the dude and cast it, or aren't preparing their meteor swarms. And I'm going to cast Absorb Elements at, I don't know, whatever my up level is, so that I can just take all of the energy that's coming off the blast and turn it into nothing.
But doesn't that just absorb the elements? Like hot, fire, water, cold, that kind of stuff? Or does
What is a Melta charge? It's plasma? Or sorry, no. What is the actual damage type of Melta in your estimation?
It's Melta damage, and Melta is focused microwaves, essentially. It's basically
okay, focused microwaves.
It excites air particles and basically just shoots a disintegration beam. So a Melta charge does the same, but as a blast effect instead. So it charges up the air particles around it and then goes off. I will look up the description for it, though.
Okay, so far it sounds like a type of unexplained physics phenomenon, essentially.
It's 40k physics.
Okay, 40k physics weapon sounds fine.
It is thermal energy. So
that's going to be fire if you want to go with thermal energy, because that's all that fire is. If I want to translate that into a D&D damage type, I was going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say that it was force damage, which wouldn't work for Absorb Elements, but if it is thermal energy, that's just fire.
It's thermal energy. I could have not looked it up. It just went with that, but it's Melt Bomb works by including a minute, uncontrolled submolecular reaction within a highly pressurized fire and petrol fuel mix located within a metallic casing, which rapidly reacts to critical stage and releases a blast of incredible heat.
Okay, so Absorb Elements works. One of the dudes who is standing, we'll say, relatively close to you, but not
all of it.
Yeah, because I can cast at 9th level. He's got a 9th level spell slot. So when you use this spell, sorry.
How much does that absorb, though? A Melta charge can take out a Land Raider.
Yeah, so it's 1d6 damage per spell level above first, and the first spell level gives me 2d6. So in total, it's going to give me 10d6.
10d6.
So 35 to 60.
Okay. I don't know if you'd absorb all of the damage.
Yeah, you have to remember that 60 is the ability to blow up a house. Not maybe a fortification, but
well, yeah, a melt bomb is meant for anti-fortification and anti-tank use.
All right, well, that Raceland can absorb most of it and then is incredibly frail afterwards, but all the other Racelands are unaffected?
They not die from the rest of the blast energy?
I don't think that there is as much blast energy that remains as you think there is. Blowing up a fortification is a matter of crumbling part of a structure, not disintegrating the entire thing. And remember, Raceland survived a blast from Takesis on several occasions. This version of Raceland does. Transcendentalist doesn't want him to die. Transcendentalist wants him to become a god. So he's got a lich on his side.
It does say because it's not an anti-personnel weapon that people within the blast radius would most likely just suffer at most possibly mortal wounds, but it'd be
I mean,
being in a room where like someone threw a concussion grenade into, so you get like.
Fair enough. Well, give me a round of stunned, and I no longer have meteor swarm for all of the rest of my racelands. How about that? I have to come up with something other than meteor swarming you to death. Okay.
That works. Yeah, that works.
All right. So concentration breaks while they're trying to get the spell together because, you know, they had a melt-a-bomb dropped at them. One of my other reserve racelands is going to use... I think it's called Earthen Wall. Hang on, I need to look at my spell list real briefly. Sorry, this was unexpected. Earthen Wall. I think that's what it used to be called.
I was going to do Stasis Bomb, but I didn't think the stasis effect would be big enough.
Fair enough. I don't think it would encompass an entire football field either.
I think it's only like maybe a couple meters across, because Lucas the Trickster has one in place of his second heart to immortalize the moment that someone manages to actually kill him. That's why I want him to fight Lucius the Eternal, because then Lucius the Eternal will actually be gone.
Huh. I did not know that. Okay, well, in the middle of the field, as one of my, like, as we try and collect what the rest of the racelands who are currently stunned are going to do, one of the backup racelands casts Wall of Stone. A non-magical wall of stone, solid stone springs to existence at a point you choose within range. Note the non-magical.
What's the range?
The range is 120 feet. And I can... the wall is 6 inches thick and sorry. Oh, sorry. I'm going to create the 10 by 20 foot panels that are only 3 inches thick so that she can't just, like, scrabble over. Seeing that she is relatively athletic, this raceland is being like, wait a minute, you're an athlete. You could probably jump a 10-foot wall, unlike me.
Yeah, and she definitely would not be carrying more than one melt-a-bomb, because they are large.
Yeah, it seems like it would be hefty.
They're like the size of a football.
Fair enough. I still feel like that much explosive power would probably be weighty. Like
it'd be like satchel charge. Like they are quite hefty.
Yeah.
So I think Space Marines are the only one who actually use them as like grenades, but they have a special one that's meant to be thrown and not just kind of dropped like a satchel charge.
Yeah, most of the Space Marine grenades are just super weird, period, because like the crack grenades and stuff are more, right? Like, even as far as they can throw them, and it never works out this way in the actual game, but like the distance that they can throw them wouldn't make it safe if they weren't a start to Special Boys. Okay, we'll say that you are within scoring distance, just to keep this going.
Okay.
Oh, you still have the wall in front of you. We'll also keep that feature.
Yeah. Okay. Is it concentration?
Nope. No. If concentration breaks, no, the wall just exists now.
Oh yeah, because it's non-magical. It's not the. Okay.
If I maintain concentration on the spell for the whole duration, the wall becomes permanent and can't be dispelled. Otherwise, the wall disappears when the spell ends. So it does require concentration only if I want it to be a permanent wall, which I don't care about. I need to survive the next 6 seconds so that I'm assuming that these racelands are basically raceland Meeseeks. Their only goal in life is to die in the glorious protection of their end zone. Oh yeah, can do. TikTok, man.
Okay, so got a bunch of laser guns and a football. And we did decide that if I shoot the Raceland who's casting the spell, the wall is still there, correct?
Yes, the wall is still there. It's just that the wall, if I concentrate on it for 10 minutes, it becomes permanent. Otherwise, it's just a non-magical wall that's sitting there.
Yeah, for 10 minutes and then it goes away.
Yep.
Okay. So she's gonna pull out the first of 6 laser guns, I believe is actually what her brace carries, is 6.
Seems like a lot.
Guns. Yeah, I mean, she's an inquisitorial henchman, essentially, like, or an agent of the Inquisition. She kind of just, she likes laser pistols and shotguns. Like, that's her jam.
To be fair, I also like laser pistols and shotguns, so...
That's what she was trained on by an Arbright's chastener, who is basically the Arbright's interrogator guy. So she's gonna, knowing it, it's only 3 inches thick, she's gonna flick the old switch on the laser pistol and go for full charge. So that's gonna take her 40 rounds down to 5.
Okay.
And it's gonna burn out the power pack, but she's got 6. She doesn't have to reload. And she's going to start shooting in like a, the good little grouping. And because it's, essentially now firing what they call hot shots, it does blast through the 3 inches of rock.
Fair enough.
But she gets 5 shots, drops it, pulls another one as she's still running full bore out. Kind of lower, shooting lower with each grouping until she fires all 6 of her laser pistols, and then just puts her shoulder down and tries to smash through the weakened wall.
Totally fair.
Because, the guy who taught her weapons and tactics is Chastener Fishgig, and no more bull-headed man has ever existed.
I did not know that, but...
He stood toe-to-toe with an Inquisitor Lord and was like, "You're breaking Imperial law. Continue and I will arrest you." And the guy's like, "I'm an Inquisitor." He's like, "I am the other guy," and Fishgeek's just like, "And I am the bringer of the Inquisitor's law. Like, you can't do this." And then the Inquisitor Lord backs down because Fishgeek he ends up as like a Lord Marshal of the Arborites, as well as like an inquisitorial agent. He's a really cool character. He has his own like novella, but no other stuff other than that. And being in like all the Ravenor and Eisenhorn books.
Fair enough. Have you completed your turn?
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think she can like?
Oh, I'm certain she can barrel through that wall. Like, the wall was just meant to slow her down slightly. It's not one of those situations where she was going to be stopped by it for long, but it was enough time for me to prepare what else the rest of the Racelands are about to do.
How far was the wall from the end zone?
About 20 yards.
20 yards? Okay.
Yeah. So you started at the wall, essentially, like, Race dropped the wall, and you ran up to it, and were like, shoot a bunch of holes in wall.
Yeah, it's shooting at it. Yeah.
Yeah. Give me 1 second here. I just want to make sure that this is the thing that I think it's going to be. Okay. So, as you're running towards the end zone manages to, like, you feel like you're running straight, but you've seen some weird crap today. And as you're running towards the end zone, you must be dizzier than you thought you were. Because, like, it seems like it's both closer and way further than it should be, and it sort of veers off to the left more than you think it should.
Cool. You're casting some form of illusion, correct?
It's Mirage Arcane, and it's not an illusion. Oh. It's real. I am creating a new place that is real. So you make terrain in an area up to 1 square mile.
Okay.
It looks, sounds, smells, and even feels like some other sort of terrain. I can give it general shapes and features. It can resemble a hill, swamp, crevasse. I'm just making it an extra mile of the like football field, except for I'm gonna keep one of my Racelands concentrating on it.
Okay.
really, in reality, one of the Raceland casts that. The rest of them go back to, I don't know, some other form of terrible magics. Assume that they're going to kill you next turn if you don't solve the Mirage Arcane. We'll put it that way.
See, the thing with Elizabeth and being an inquisitorial agent, the final kind of battle thing of her first sortie under Eisenhorn was actually onto a planet that didn't obey the laws of physics as we know it, where even space marines were phased by it, and she performed better than most, as in, like, even Eisenhorn got all nauseous and she was like, you guys suck, and just kind of kept going. So she's not actually like all like the change everything. It doesn't phase her at all. She's like, cool, weird magic, all right. She knows where the end zone is supposed to be.
Yeah, but there is literally a square mile of space between her and the end zone. So there is a, whatever, 75-foot long strip or wide strip that is whatever that would be in the rest of a square mile. So as much as like things have changed, it's just that like I wanted to give some flavor to it. She has to run like several hundred more yards to get there. It's not like the end zone is still in the same space. There's now like 225 more yards to the end zone. This may feel like I am changing the goalposts, and you would in fact be correct.
Yes, you are.
I am literally, in this case, changing the goalposts.
Yeah. Cool. So,
a form of fallacy in any other way, but in this way, it's just fun for me.
Sighing, and she's gonna keep running. She's gonna pull a little kind of box-shaped device from her pocket.
Okay.
And she's just gonna click a button on it and say into it, "Hammer strikes Aegeus."
Okay.
As she calls down an orbital strike on the Racelands.
Super fair. Super fair. I assume that just like it takes me a turn to make my meteor swarms show up, it's gonna take you a turn to call in an exterminatus. Sorry?
It's not an exterminatus. It's just a lance strike. It's a single lance battery. I'm shooting you from orbit with a volcano cannon.
Cool. I still think that it takes time. If I'm going to give you the benefit of not just immediately crushing you with meteor swarm every round, you're going to have to give this one to me.
You immediately crushed me with meteor swarm on the first round.
I could immediately crush you with meteor swarm on every round. I'm trying to make it fun. I mean, you could try and hit me with the thing. Not all of them are within range. Some of them are going to use, I don't care, etherealness, and it just doesn't matter. They don't get hit. Like, I can go to the ethereal plane for a second. Doesn't require concentration. An earthquake happens.
Oh, like, a volcano shoots that part of the football stadium, essentially.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Like,
does bore a rather large crater on that part. So when they do appear, they fall into, like,
why on earth would I fall anywhere? I'm a wizard. Between levitation, fly, featherfall, featherfall's a reaction. So I fall at half the normal speed, and it's not like I'm going to reach the bottom of the pit right now. I will say that you can eventually score on this one, just because I want the ball back so that I can do the things that I'm going to do.
Okay.
Raceland second possession. The first Raceland casts Clone, and then the second Raceland also casts Clone until, like, I don't know, the, 12 of you are confronting, 40 Racelands. All of them with footballs, of course.
Yeah.
Because it duplicates all of your gear and all the rest of it, right? Every time you do the clone thing.
Yeah, it's a full... The clone has everything that you have.
Precisely.
Yeah.
All 40 of the Racelands are now going to cast Teleport.
Cool.
I have scored 40...
Does Teleport happen instantly or instantaneously, or does it,
Oh, I guess you get a turn in between.
Yeah. So, having seen that it's it's not portal, it's teleport.
It's teleport. Yeah, it's just an instantaneous one to the next place.
Yeah. So like, is there like, do you just kind of do you pop into being, and then you're just yeah, okay, yeah.
So I already exist in the next place. Even if I'm dead, as long as I have control of the ball as I enter the end zone,
Readying their fire for when the Racelands step, like, you know.
So there are 40 Racelands. How
has 6 laser pistols, so there's 12.
Okay.
And each laser pistol on the
but
base,
she can't
like,
empty all 6.
He might have more than that. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at
Eisenhorns and have the PDF open. So let's go with Eisenhorn has 4 attacks. So let's say they can shoot in difference, kind of a deal.
It's skill based off of equipment that's giving them.
Yeah, exactly. So okay, let's say that they all get 15 times 12 is. No, I just want 16 times 12. I don't. Why do I have to write weird things? Okay, I'll use calculator instead of Google. Give me the calculator. No, not calendar.
192.
Okay, 192 shots. Neato burrito. It doesn't matter, even if they're all instantaneously murdered upon.
How many of them survived before both feet touched?
It doesn't matter. The ball was in their control as it broke the plane of the end zone. I entered into the end zone in control of the ball. Even if I immediately afterwards was turned into a fine pink mist, I don't have to get both feet down. I just need to be in control of the ball. The ball has to break the plane of the end zone. He's graded mist of nothing. As long as I had demonstrated control of the ball as it entered the end zone, that counts as a touchdown.
Nothing about football. I think I've watched one football game in its entirety.
That's fair. Sorry, I would have chosen a different one had I not known that you didn't know more rules.
I like lacrosse and hockey.
Well, then we will make one of them a breakaway challenge next. 3-on-3?
3. No one wins because none of us can skate.
I feel like race would be even more awful because definitely ice skating requires more dexterity than just being alive and an ass. So
it would just continuously fall.
This is
falling on his way out.
Fair enough. Let's finish this one off. Okay. I just scored 40 touchdowns. Do you think you can score 40 touchdowns this turn?
Only actually has one clone.
Beckwins?
Yeah, with the same. I see. I don't know if the clone has the same like abilities because
it seems like it. Like they say that they're a clone in every way that they possibly could.
I just don't like being like the training that the original Beckwin, Fishkig, and Eisenhorn all the time. And this other crazy bounty hunter guy who sounds really, really scary. I can't remember what his name is, but he's on the Salamander's home planet, so he has the same onyx skin, but he moves like a panther, and apparently he's huge and super quiet.
Fair.
Or 40 touchdowns with 2 people.
Are you willing to concede this contest of champions?
Unless I can call in an inquisitorial retinue, and I'll just call in like a storm.
The bad dragons from the one time where I almost became let's put it this way. If I was able to use the like Takisa's god powers that I got until Paladine Deus Ex, there's a brief second where I can control all of the evil dragons in existence, and then Bahamut or Paladine is like, no. And then the world goes back.
Nobody likes race except for Karaman.
Karaman doesn't even like race. He's in an abusive relationship and doesn't know how to get out. All right.
The Hall of Champions. Jack Black is no longer alone.
Yeah, so at some point in time when we have gotten enough champions together, we will start going through the tiers of the Contest of Champions. So Jack Black, Raceland, and Majir have both entered into the Hall of Champions. We'll be back next Thursday with 2 new competitors in the Contest of Champions. In the meantime, we have managed to mostly finish off our dwarf here.
I really like the blue hair. That's amazing.
there are little things that I'm gonna like clean up a little bit. There's just some little bits and pieces here and there that don't quite read quite the way I want them to, but like that's fine. Like most of these models, I'm gonna take them to about 80%, which is where we're at here. And then once we've got them situated in, because these are gonna be armies, so we're gonna start. We have the big burnt out pirate ship that is going to be. I've got most of the plan together for how to do that for our Orkland Raiders, because they are Raiders, so of course they have a pirate ship as their like a giant wrecked pirate ship as their home field. And I have started doing the layout for these guys. They're gonna live in a big old granite mine. So I mean, as big as I can make in a 22 by 23 or a 22 by 30, 20. But yeah, these guys are gonna get both field top, a little bit of the stands, but mostly we're also going to have their entire kind of like clubhouse down below the field. So that's going to be where we're going with these guys. Yeah, we'll do all of that construction on stream. I just wanted to get through some of the painting stuff. Hopefully get the camera to focus up. In the meantime, if you enjoyed what you saw, we would love it if you guys and YouTube to recommend this to new people is always hard, and we're a small channel, so it always helps a ton. The other ways you can always help us is you can go onto our website, choiceminis.com. You can always pick up merch from any of our series, including Project Neverfall, and you can pick it up for the Dwarf Giants, which are these boys here. You can, of course, pick it up for the Orkland Raiders, which I mentioned before, or if you want, you can always become a part of Project Neverfall. If you want to find more of our updates, you can always click that little link in the bio. It'll take you to our Discord. Starting to get more plans for what we're posting on Discord. Of course, follow, comment, like, subscribe, hit the little bell icon so you're here to hang out with us. Adam, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Picture soon. I just need to do a little bit more work. I'm gonna do like a kind of a test assembly of my helmet, and I'll post pictures of that.
Sweet. Awesome. All right, everybody. We will be back next Tuesday. I'm taking the weekend off, so I won't be streaming on Saturday, but you will be able to join us next Tuesday at 6 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time. That is 8 o'clock p.m. in the Eastern Time Zone, or 5 o'clock in Pacific. Adam, I love you, brother.
You, dude.
I love all the rest of you guys as well. Get vaccinated. Do something about white supremacy. ACAB. Peace out.